Felicitations, adventurers! Welcome to Roll for Felicity, where we play serialized one-shots in a multitude of systems with assorted players. And tonight is one of these serialized one-shots. You know them, you love them. We are here with Vanessa, Sierra, and Goblin. And we've got some Gerbs in the chat. Shout out to Gerb. Which is an NPC from last night that was very popular, a very cute frog. But yeah, so tonight we are playing the game Mausritter, which if you caught our last stream, you're a little bit familiar with. My cat knows that I'm live and is attacking my hand. Hello. Oh yes, last night we were playing Swash Talkie Sky's game, which is the magical year of a teenage witch. Hello again, Sky, thanks for hanging out. Hello the Gadget, thanks for joining, and thanks for the follow. I saw that you followed right before we started stream. Space Cadets Assemble Wander, you have some friends. That's one of your moms.
I'm honored, right? I'm honored.
Yeah. So cool. If you caught the last Mausritter session, you're already familiar with our mice and these players. But if you didn't, that's totally cool. The reason why I call these serialized one-shots is the things that happened during last session are completely canon, happened to these players. But this one-shot is its own thing. So the story is separate. There might be references to things that happened previously. But it's not something that you will need to have watched the previous one. However, if you want to watch the previous one, it is on my YouTube channel, which is Roll for Felicity on YouTube. It's not on Twitch anymore because it was before I had Twitch Prime, but it is on YouTube. Without further ado, I'm going to let my guests introduce themselves, starting with Vanessa, because she is next to me in the layout. Vanessa, do you want to introduce yourself?
All right. Well, hello, everybody. I am Vanessa, aka GalaxyWandererX, and I am a variety streamer here on Twitch. I am 23 years old as of recently. I like to play the video games, and I'm trying my best to exist and entertain everybody.
Yes.
That's what I'll say for now.
I also just realized I did not start the music, so I'm going to start the music, a little call to adventure. And if you want to follow Vanessa, aka Galaxy Wanderer, I just put in the chat everyone's Twitter and Twitch handles, and YouTube if they have YouTube. So you can click on those and follow them in all the places. And yeah, next up, Sierra, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Sure. So I'm Sierra, Super Silly Sierra on the internet. I do reviews on Twitch and YouTube for comic books. I'm a comic book concierge. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. So yeah, if you like reading or like don't know what comics are or have questions about comics, come and see me because I'll pretend I have answers. So.
Yes, very knowledgeable. And then last but of course not least, Goblin, do you want to introduce yourself? And while you do that, I'm gonna put some food in my cat's dish so she doesn't scream at me. I'm gonna distract her.
Of course, I would love to fill that time. So my name is Goblin. Oh gosh, what do? I kind of come onto the internet and cause chaos. I'm a variety streamer on Twitch. I post my doodles on Instagram. I tweet occasionally. And yeah, I think that's kind of it. I just kind of show up on people's timelines and act chaotic and hang out and stream. And according to Sleep Child, I create gods. So there's
Yes. Goblin did do the art that you see of her, the reactive image that's on the stream, and then also this wonderful updated art of the 3 mice characters that we have, which is so cute. I did not know that she was doing that. She just sent it in Discord today. It's so adorable. And is that, I just realized, is what's behind them, is that the quarter from, is that Parmesan Enigma's quarter, or am I just making connections that don't exist?
Oh, it most certainly is that quarter.
Wow, big brain.
Oh yes, I can
I
see
like
now
to
it
throw
says
in
it
little-
has 25 cents on it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
I like to throw in those little nods, and if nobody gets them, then they're just for me. But if other people notice them, then it's even better.
It's beautiful. Yeah, so if you're not already following these streamers, what are you doing? You should give them a follow. They're great. They're delightful. That's why I'm having them on today. And also you can see in chat, if you want to affect the game tonight, there are a couple different ways you can do that. One, you can tip us, tip the performers. You can use bits or actual currency through PayPal. So for $1 to $5, you can choose one of the mice characters and give them advantage on a roll, which makes them more likely to succeed. They can choose when to use that. So if you do it at the top of the stream, they can pick when they want to use that advantage. You don't have to, like, time it for a certain thing. And for $6 to $10 or 600 to 1,000 bits, you can name an NPC. So if there's an NPC that comes up that you're like, oh, I have a name for them, or, you want to do that, you can do that. And then for $11 or more, you can make me roll on the encounter table to have something happen that will complicate life for these mice. And that is limited to once per person per stream, because that's like, otherwise it's gonna get, really out of control if somebody really wants to tip a lot. All those tips are split between the performers. It's absolutely not required, but it's something fun that you can do. And you can also use felicitations, which are the channel points. There are a couple of different things with felicitations. You can use felicitations also to name an NPC. You can make me do a silly voice for an NPC. You can make me leave for a little bit and let the players conspire without me, so I don't know what they're planning, or, that's fun. And then you can also do sound effects and stuff like that. So if you're not familiar with the felicitations, you absolutely can do that. Or you could use it for the community challenge, which Galaxy Wanderer just did, and get us closer to having a party game stream where we're going to play games with chat and do party games. I think that is all the business I have for the top of the stream. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's see what these mice have been up to. I'm very excited. This is going to be great. So when the three of you killed the fire-breathing snake and saved Cavington's centennial celebration, it was still winter. The celebration took place inside the enormous cow skull building in the center of town, where you were kept warm by fireplaces, alcohol, and the glow of your accomplishments. It's been a few months since you risked your lives and mourned the loss of Parmesan Enigma, the rat hireling presumed to have been eaten by the snake you slayed, and the dirt roads out of Covington are muddy more often than not, but the bright green nubs of new grass sprouts are delicious enough to make up for the mud and dreariness. And today is also an exciting day because the circus has set up a tent nearby, and Cherry Pipp is in town, although at the circus right now. So Seam Thorn, your good friend Chewy, the little cricket / Junebug type beetle, is excitedly buzzing around you, making sure to keep his little beetle feet clean. And you and Larkspur Thorne, who is no relation to you, are making your way through the muddy path to where the circus has set up their tent. What do you think? I'll throw it to the two of you first. What do you think the two of you are talking about as you are as you're headed to the circus?
I'm probably wondering about snacks. Feeling snackish. Pretty excited about treats from the circus.
Yeah.
Start there.
Yeah. What? I'll throw you a little bit of, not a curveball, I guess, but do you think there's anything, if you want to make something up that you think is a circus food that Larkspur would be excited for? Like, do you think there's something specific they're talking about, or do you think they're like, I don't know what it's gonna be, but I'm excited?
I imagine popcorn would be kind of a big thing at the circus, right? Maybe it's just one big popped kernel.
I think so. Yeah.
But it's fully popped. It's the full circle, the good popcorn.
Yes. Can I tell you,
Beautiful.
I actually have that in my notes, And when I was writing about it, I turned to my husband and I was like, can you imagine how good popcorn would be if it was the size of your head and like it was all like the kernel would be not as big of a problem because it would be like the pit of a seed or something. You wouldn't have to worry about it.
Almost like eating a crab. You just have to eat around it.
Yeah. Exactly. I imagine it's also kind of kettle corn-ish. So there's like kind of like the like something sweet. Yeah, it's a little
or
sweet and
like a honey, maybe like a honey type of.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think Seam is excited for and or talking about?
Probably just a large gathering of people, getting to see different kinds of people and like where they're from. Just excited about seeing a diverse group of existence, I guess is what I'll say.
Yeah, because I am imagining that the circus isn't set up like in Calvington. It's kind of like a little bit away, so there's like some other mice from other towns that are gonna be there. But yeah, I think the two of you are, excitedly talking about that. And also, do you want to each describe what your characters look like? For anyone who did not catch last year.
It's a little chilly out right now, right? So maybe some sort of like cloak. It's just like a piece of fabric. It's not even like full cloak. It's but like makeshift, like little pen. I don't know.
Yeah. Larkspur also notably is the one to the far right in the drawing that Goblin did. Has had their tail lost part of their tail in a run-in with a snake when they were younger, but has made up for it by having that beautiful rat tail,
which has gotten longer since the last time we've seen them. It's just a little
a beautiful rat tail. Yes, I love it. And then Seam, what do you look like?
I have no idea. Oh god. So I didn't consider this. Essentially, as we see in this lovely drawing shown, we have an elongated face and a very cute marbled fur. I imagine also wearing some kind of cloak, probably something of red shade, like a burgundy, kind of dark. Chewie most definitely still has his like little booties on.
I was gonna ask.
Maybe a beanie that's been knit since like the last time. Just like strapped on his head with like a little chin strap. Like those I don't know what they called, like those hats that have like the tassels on the sides that they're being used to like tie around his head to keep it firmly in place.
Yes. Yes, I love it. As you can tell by the description, Seam is the one to the left on the drawing that you can see on screen. The two of you I think are excitedly. Do you think that there's any because you mentioned pre-stream that you think that Seam has collected kind of a gaggle of children who like to watch her play with Chewie and like hang out with her. Do you think there's kids with you? Do you think that you've
oh, definitely just like quietly trailing behind, maybe like 10 feet or so, like trying to stay quiet even though like they're being obnoxiously loud kind of situation.
Can I
kind of situation where it's like, what's up?
No, I was going to say, can I refer to the children as ruffians, like that gang of ruffians, and it's just like a gang of kids that are like
delinquents
slowly coming up. Yeah, the delinquents are behind us.
Yes, Melanie,
and they're just like turn around, they just like freeze up and just like stare quietly.
I think they are fully covered in mud. Like at least the bottom halves of them. They are not avoiding the mud. They are not avoiding the mess of spring. And yeah, I definitely think that's happening. So yeah, they're kind of like, excitedly talking to each other, and then, one of you turns around, and then they kind of like, hush up and like cluster closer together, get straightened up. And then as soon as you go back to talking about you're excited for the popcorn and, all the different things.
Just the whispers start back up.
Yeah. And like with kids, it always starts quiet. It always starts at okay, this is normal. But then as they get excited, it kind of like builds up again and they're, fully shouting. Yes, I absolutely, I love that. I think too, I'm going to cut over to Cherry Pipp, our other mouse, our other star of the show tonight. You are getting ready for the circus performance, which is going to happen pretty soon. You know that your old friends Larkspur and Seam are going to be in attendance, along with some of the other rats and mice from the Covington area. If you want to describe what Cherry Pipp looks like, and also what you're doing to get ready.
Sure. So, Cherry Pipp is in the drawing on stream. She's the one in the middle. She is, I think the way that I described her last time was she has like the youngest sibling energy.
Yeah.
She's very rambunctious. She doesn't really have the best head for making like the most mature decisions. She just kind of rushes ahead. If anyone was watching last stream, then that's was kind of was very or displayed very well. I think that just getting ready, or I'm sorry, in between the last campaign or the last one shot and what happened or what's going to happen here, I think that Cherry has once the circus kind of left Calvington, she made good on her promise and started to kind of deviate away from the circus and kind of go into her or try to be the adventurer she always thought she was. And she very promptly got in way over her head. And she had to kind of come back to the circus with her tail between her legs. And so right now I would say that she is kind of limbering up. She's this is kind of second nature to her. She's used to this. This is literally what she was born into. And so this is just kind of second nature to her. So yeah, I think she's kind of limbering up. She has youngest energy or youngest sibling energy because she is one of the younger siblings. So I'd say that she's like kind of getting distracted and running after her siblings and just trying to round the younger ones up, but also like having that rambunctious energy for the older siblings to then come and round her up.
Nice, yeah.
She's doing her best, but she's a like youngest sibling at heart. So.
Yes. Maybe I'm getting the feeling that Cherry has matured a little bit since the in the couple of months it's been since the run-in with the snake. But not fully mature. Hasn't matured that much.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think that is very much like, anytime there's like a big event or like performance or something that's happening, the backstage is like people running around, everyone trying to like get into their places. I think one of your siblings comes up and is like, Cherry, my costume, I can't get the zipper stuck in my fur, and like all that sort of thing. Just barely controlled chaos. Which has been my experience anytime I've been a part of any kind of performance. It's just,
absolutely
running around trying to get everywhere in time. Unless there's anything else that anybody wants to talk about. I guess I'll also say for Larkspur and Seam, just for the benefit of the viewers, is there anything you want to mention that either of you have been up to since the previous one shot? Cherry talked a little bit about her adventures. Is there anything that you want to mention?
Just lots of like scouting, maybe a little herbology, learning about like what's around the town and what's available. Yeah, just mapping stuff and exploring.
Nice. Yeah. And Seam, we mentioned you've made a connection with the kids. What else has Seam been up to?
Just being a total pushover. Taking the most simple tasks or like the most complicated tasks that people ask of her and being like, can you go get me this from this scary place because I don't want to go so that I can make this thing? Of course. It seems like, come on. Definitely trying to become a member of the community because she is a new addition to the area. But overall, that's I think, mostly what it is, just shenanigans.
Yeah. I'm currently playing through Fallout 4, and so the whole like whatever random things that people are asking you to do and running into dangerous places. Really, I feel like that is kind of what Seam is up to, is like
Just desperately wanting to be liked.
yeah, trying to grind some XP.
Win the people's favor as well.
Yeah. Some relationship XP. Cool. Yeah, so I think when the two of you arrive, the circus performances haven't started yet. But the if you've been to a circus or something like that, the performances, there's all kinds of other things that are happening. So that's already in full swing. There's a rat wearing an eye patch, and his tail is tattooed. And he's in front of this big circus tent, selling tickets. Each of you, I think, do have a note from Cherry Pipp, that's like giving you free admission. I'll put you on the spot, Goblin. What do you think if Cherry was writing a note to like give her friends free admission? What do you think the note says?
Here's the thought that immediately popped into my head. So, since this is very much a family-run circus, the person who is taking admission and like getting all of the tickets and making sure that people are all paid up, more likely than not, that's going to be one of Cherry's siblings. And so I feel like Cherry, she has the last adventure has kind of sobered her up a little bit and like matured her a little bit. So she doesn't go full devious, but I think that she gives both Seam and Larkspur a folded note telling them not to open it. And what was that?
That was sorry, I didn't remind you before stream. That was an alert. Thank you so much, Sky. I'm gonna roll something to see, because they said advantage for a random mouse. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll something to see which of you gets this. But thank you so much for the $5.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you all hear weird sound effects, that is because I'm sharing my computer audio. That is alerts. That is my stream alerts.
Noted.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that she hands them like 2 folded notes, telling them not to open them, and when they present folded notes to the sibling, it is some kind of dirt that Cherry has on them.
Yes.
And at the bottom, it's like, these are my friends, let them in.
Perfect. Yeah. Also, this is a rat. So does that mean that you have an adopted rat sibling, or is this like, because that is interesting if you have a rat sibling, or is this maybe not directly sibling, but like maybe a cousin or something like that?
I think that if they aren't like immediately related by blood, it's very much like a found family type situation.
Yes, I like that.
Where the family circus will just kind of encompass anybody who needs a family.
Cool. I like that. Yeah, so you two hand these papers that Cherry gave you. Speaking of Cherry, I did roll for it, and you have advantage thanks to Sky. So you can just make a note of that someplace that you can choose to roll 2 dice and take the lower number in this system.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So yeah, this rat, this kind of tough looking, tattooed rat with this eye patch, you hand him these 2 little notes that you have from Cherry, and he opens them up, and like you see his face just turns bright red under his fur, and he just says, okay, go on through. You got some ringside seats, and just kind of like waves you through quickly. Do you think either of the 2 of you peeked at the contents of this note, or do you think you just left it?
I imagine that Seam is very much, like I said, like a people pleaser pushed over. So it's definitely like, nope, we're not breaking any rules. We're asked not to do this. Let's not break that boundary.
Yeah. Larkspur, what do you think? Do you think Larkspur peeked at the note or not?
maybe like try to like peek at it, but like didn't open it completely.
Like,
So
held
only
it up
got
to
like
the
a
light.
glimpse of what. Yeah, like try to see through it. Like
Yeah, I think you saw something like you didn't see whatever the scandalous information is, but you kind of got the vibe of this note that was like, I have some dirt on you and these are my friends.
and maybe something more embarrassing than like bad. Like right, like
Yeah.
not like a bad person. It's just like
Yeah, like
sleeps with a teddy bear.
I don't think that the note was very like mean-spirited. It's very much like the stuff that siblings pull on each other.
Yes, not like I know what you did last summer, but more
Exactly.
like you know, I know about your crush. Yeah, or whatever, something like that. Cool. Yeah. As you kind of go into the tent, Cherry, I know last time you described what the tent was made out of, and I could not quite remember. I thought it was like a kind of like waterproofed like napkin. Is that accurate? I was imagining like the like kind of red and white checkers, but I can't remember what you said.
I think what I had originally said was something along the lines of like when the circus was founded, they were nearby a co-op, and so they managed to get those like reusable napkins.
Oh yes, yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, and then to waterproof it, I'd say that they at some point managed to come across some like hot or soft wax, and they were able to like work it into the fabric, kind of make it a little bit more waterproof,
like some beeswax or something.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I remembered it was something along those lines, but I could not remember for sure. So yeah, in the center of the ring, when you two enter, there's a frog knight in tin can armor, who's fighting a giant centipede the size of a snake, which maybe is a little bit of a like.
Yeah, a little nervous over here, but.
The sides of so that's like kind of the first thing that's happening. I think the rat who kind of let you in like kind of told you a little bit that there's some seats reserved for you that are right up at the edge of the the ringside seats. So you're like right up front. Yeah. Right up front, right by the centipede. I think this is not exactly how this game works. Usually the saves are for like something, something bad will happen. It's not exactly like D&D, but if the two of you want to give me, I think, a will save, just to notice something about the fight, and you're gonna want to roll lower than whatever your will number is.
What if I'm at my will number?
I think that is a success.
Nice.
I think it's
rolling a d20, yes?
Yes. Roll a d20.
Okay.
Let me double check, but I think if it's at or below. Less than or equal to, yes.
Woo! Got a 3.
Got a 12.
Yeah. What did Seam get? Oh, you said a 12.
Yeah.
So that is higher than your will. Okay, so Seam, I think you're just very like, the kids are kind of, you can see like making their way through the crowd, like kind of trying to find seats next to you. Like they don't have ringside seats, but like you're kind of keeping an eye out for like, yeah, keeping an eye out for like where these kids are, and like, enraptured by like this performance. Larkspur, you're very focused on this centipede, this huge centipede, maybe a little bit out of fear. And after watching for a little bit, you kind of get the feeling that this is like a trained centipede. Like it looks like this knight and this centipede are like fighting each other. But it's, you kind of are like, oh, okay, I'm not actually in danger right now. Like this is
my tail just started twitching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
your little nose is kind of like, tremor.
Like,
yeah.
Love it.
But yeah, some good news is that you're not in immediate danger. And I think as you're realizing that, the sides of the tent, like to either side, are kind of opened up, and a pair of small sparrows fly into the tent, and they're carrying two little mice who are like flying trapeze artists, and so that starts, you know, like the flying trapeze, the sparrows fly completely through and like toss them to, you know, to the trapeze. There's a also a long leg spider, which is like a daddy long leg, that is gliding around the audience with a coin pouch, or a pip pouch, I should say. Pips are the currency. And a sign that says refreshments, and kind of like starts to go towards your area.
Is this where I get the popcorn?
Do you
happening?
do you want to get popcorn? Do you want to wave
Yeah.
this spider over?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. So you wave the spider over, and this kind of spider glides over to you and lowers herself down, and says, "One pip for a pop."
Oh, I love that. All right, cool. So I'll do it. I'm gonna change my number.
Yeah.
I'll give him the pip.
Yeah. And Seam, would you like any popcorn? I think the spider says, "And for you, a pop for a pip."
That's good. That's a good.
I'll take two.
Cool. Yeah. The spider.
And then
like...
she takes one and like breaks up and like throws it to the kids. Like they have to share it.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. You trade your pips for your pops. And yeah, these are like big, like bigger than probably your head. And like, you know, we already talked about when we were talking about the popcorn. It is, you know, so delicious. Each popcorn each bite bursts with buttery, crunchy, sweet flavor. The colorful tent, made of this, you know, this napkin that's been treated with some beeswax, is kind of like fluttering a little bit in this breeze. It's a little chilly, but it's also like kind of nice. And the whole tent smells of sawdust, peanuts, popcorn, and beeswax from, you know, the treatment. What do you think the two of you are most excited? Like, is there a circus act that you are like very excited to see? And if it's Cherry, that's a fine answer. But
Yeah,
if there's something other than Cherry.
I was gonna say probably Cherry's new act. See what she's got. Any like magicians? Any magic acts? In the circus,
yes.
Or is that too?
Absolutely. There's a magic act.
All right.
Do you know what animal you would, if you could think for yourself of like what animal you would want to see do a magic trick that would fit into this world? Do you have something?
Immediately, I thought of like a lizard losing its tail, like or something would like freak everyone out.
A lizard. Like... it's like the sawing the lady in half, but it's a lizard with its own tail.
Yeah. Like he's. Yeah. I love it.
Yes, there 100% is a lizard who saws off his own tail.
Maybe
yes.
Like an assistant. I don't know if it's got like a little beetle assistant as well, or
yes,
to help with the flying illusions.
Yeah, maybe a lightning bug assistant that's kind of like going around like a little spotlight, you know, to kind of, because the whole thing is, you know, what is it called? Like just, you know, distracting people from like what you want them to see.
Yeah.
Melanie in the chat just said Liz Angel. Yes. Liz Angel is performing.
Oh my god.
Perfect.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Seam, is there something that you think that you're really excited to see at the circus?
I think literally anything absolutely blows Seam's mind. Like, just a super excited, you know, existence, completely gullible, believes everything that is happening is 100% genuine and like real.
Yes.
You know, like that kind of vibe of like, holy crap, how did you do that?
Yeah, I think
like just like constantly like reaching over like to like Larkspur and being like, whoa.
Yes. I think also the kids from behind every once in a while will be like, Seam, did you see that? How did he do that? How did they do? Oh my gosh! are they gonna fall? Are they gonna fall? Because it's, you know, there's so much happening at the circus. Like, it's like, yeah, there's a magician, but then also there's, like, you know, some other, like, wild thing that's happening at the same time. Like, there's just 100% sensory overload from just so much happening.
I imagine Seam just staring back, being like, I have no idea. Just like same energy as these children. Just
But
that might be why they like her so much, because she just vibes with them.
You're bigger than us. You're supposed to know. You're supposed to know about this stuff. Is it really magic? Is it really? Don't you have a friend who can do magic? I heard about when you fought the snake. You had a friend who could do magic. Can you do magic?
Just like staring back at them, being like, what? It has to be magic. What else could it possibly be? I mean, look at what they're doing. I couldn't do that. I mean, like, Cherry can do magic.
and as you say that, Cherry Pipp, do you want to describe what your entrance for your performance is, and what your circus act is?
Sure. So I think the mention of magic makes me think that Cherry, whenever she can, would absolutely use that light spell as part of her entrance.
Yeah.
Like it's like a spot, or maybe she's fashioned it into like where the light that's coming out of the light spell is like beamed into, like it's like a Rube Goldberg-esque machine that turns it into a spotlight.
Yeah.
And I think for my act, I think it kind of goes it goes in a hierarchy. I don't know how to say that word.
Yeah.
Where all of the younger kids are like kind of, they definitely have to practice for a very long time, but the younger kids are the ones that are up in the air for the sole reason that they're just easier to kind of toss around. So they're all they're all the trapeze artists, and like the older you get, you can kind of be like the strong man or like just the different circus acts. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, I think she's joining in with those the two mice in the buckets, and she's becoming a part of the trapeze act. It's either that or a circus or a clown routine.
Oh, I can't decide which one is more fun. Can it be both? Can you come in like as a clown and then like, yeah, and then like one of the trapeze artists like swings down and grabs you, and it's like, oh, this seems like it's a mistake. Like, this is so, like, everyone's like, ah, and then like Cherry does like a flip through the air, and it's like, Cherry was a part of it the whole time. I think that would be very show-stopping.
I love that idea, and so I'm going with it.
Yes, I think yeah, I'm not gonna make you like roll anything for your circus performance because, you know, you're not in any real danger. You know, this is something you've practiced a lot. I do think to use your light spell, because of the way magic is, I think, hang on, I do think I'll have you use a usage of that light spell if you're using it as like a part of your act, just because magic is like such a thing in this where it's like not something that everyone has access to.
Yeah, absolutely.
And do you think it still has, because the last one shot you described this like cherry blossom effect, do you think that is still like a part of the magic that Cherry is casting?
I think that it's a little bit more subdued just because she is using it in a way that it's not supposed to happen. But I think that a few cherry blossoms still come through in the like the spotlight aspect.
Yeah,
they're still there. It's just they kind of get lost in the little Rube Goldbergian contraption she has set up.
Yeah. Cool. I like that. Yeah. As you and the trapeze artists are taking about, I think there's like, because you know the clowns entered, there's some like music that's playing. Actually, I know just the song. I'm gonna DJ here for a second because there's a song in this playlist that is perfect for this, I think. This guy.
There you go.
Yeah, this kind of circusy, music is playing, and there's, a timpani and everything. As this is happening, I think, you all notice the timpani to the circus music makes a much deeper kind of resounding sound that kind of echoes through the whole tent. And like even there's like a little white mouse that's like playing this I said timpani, so it'd be like this, not like this. Playing this timpani kind of like looks startled at what just happened. And that's when you realize the sound that you heard was not coming from the music. And you realize that because it's continuing, like, as the timpani player kind of, like, is startled, like, the sound continues, and it's getting louder, and it's getting closer, and you can hear, like, kind of, because this is mostly mice, which, in this game, mice are, like, very easily frightened, like, not ones to, like, take a stand and fight. You can see kind of towards the mice, like, that are close to the exits start to kind of, like, exit the circus tent to kind of look around. And as that is happening, some of the mice that are leaving, you can hear yelling, like, you can hear, like, some, like, commotion once they get out of the tent. The musicians, like, falter and stop playing, and you hear the words that are being said just as the tent above you is whisked away. And you hear, as you see this, the mice who are running saying, "A human! It's a human!" And you see this huge, enormous figure towering above you as, like, quickly but slowly, like that weird way that, like, giant things kind of are to small things, the whole tent is just picked up, and you are all exposed.
Oh dear.
Is there anything immediately that you all would do?
Scream.
Yeah, there's like
Immediately my mind is like imagining Attack on Titan, like
yeah. Yes, I think that is what it's like. And you're not, like, the only mouse to be screaming. There are other mice that are also, like, as this is happening, it's like, oh, oh, like, as the tent is being lifted. Larkspur and Cherry, is there anything that you immediately, like, your first reaction when this happens?
I imagine Larkspur would just, like, take off. Like, there's just, like, a little, like, cloud outline of me where I was sitting next to... No offense, guys, but it snuck up on me and I'm just gone. Didn't even see what it was. Just gone.
Yeah.
Maybe hiding behind something? Nearby, if that's possible?
Yeah, I think... Let me hear what... Because I think I have something in mind for that, what you're trying to do. Cherry, what do you think that you are doing? You are almost alone in the center of the circus. There's the two other trapeze artists who are already starting to run, and you are kind of in the center of, all of these mice that are running away.
I feel like the circus would have, like, not a regularly practiced protocol, but, like, some sort of, like, if something goes wrong in the show, like, break glass in case of emergency type situation.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's probably, like, there's a location to go to that it's like, okay, here's, like, where you get to. I don't think that location is, like, in the center of, like, the circus ring. I think it's, like, if there's weather, if there's an attack or something, like, this is where we meet, this is where, like, I imagine there's, like, pack animals that you have, like, maybe big beetles or, like, something like that can carry things for you. So I'm imagining that you're heading, like, you're just taking off running with the other two performers. Does that sound...
Yeah, I'd say that Yeah, we're following protocol. This doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, we're kind of ready for it. So we're making our way towards the rendezvous point.
Yeah, I don't think this has happened with a human before. I think there certainly have been other things that have happened. I think this is your first time. It's up to you if it's your first time ever seeing a human. It's definitely the first time you have been performing and a human has picked up your circus tent.
I definitely think that it's the first time I've seen a human this close.
Yeah.
And Cherry is just acting on instinct, where it's like something has gone wrong with the performance, so we are going to the rendezvous point.
Yes. Okay, cool. So yeah, I think, let me see. I think I'm going to say for, Larkspur and Seam, the two of you, go ahead and roll me strength saves. Because the people, like, the mice around you are immediately, like, pushing. I mean, like, this is a crowded place, and everyone is trying to get out. So you're immediately being kind of pushed out of the way. And I think Seam, if you want to make it with disadvantage, because you kind of are just, like, screaming, being buffeted. You don't have, like, a specific thing you're trying to do. So you'll roll 2d20 and take the lower one. Larkspur, you'll just take 1d20, and you want to get lower than your strength number. Also, thank you so much, Captain Freestar, for the bits. If you would like, you can choose one of the players to give advantage to. And yeah, they said Mouse RPG. That sounds so freaking cute. But yeah, let me know what you got on those saves.
Rolled a 20 and a 10.
Yeah, so the 20, on any other game, a 20 would be great.
Yeah.
In this game, a 20, probably not any other game, but in a lot of other games, a 20 would be great. This one, not so much. Larkspur, what did you get?
I got a 13, so not this time. I'm at 8.
Okay, yeah. So both of you, Larkspur, you try to immediately, like, push your way through the crowd. Seam, you're just kind of, like, standing in one place screaming. Both of you are, like, kind of pushed, because you're right up, like, you know, right up on the edge of the circus. You are pushed over the edge of the ring, like, into the circus ring. You both tumble into it. Cherry, can you make me a dexterity save?
Sure. I think I have a 9 in dexterity.
Yes, you have a 9. So you're trying to roll lower than a 9.
All right. Let's see if I get it.
And Larkspur, Captain Freestar gave you advantage on a roll in the future. So you will have that. Yeah, thank you so much.
So I rolled a 6, so I pass.
Cool. Okay, so this hand comes down towards you, this giant hand. You manage to dodge out of the way. One of the other performers is grabbed by this human hand, one of the other mice that was performing with you, and the hand starts to retreat back up.
Okay. I mean, that performer is, again, either one of my, like, blood relatives or, like, somebody that I know very well. And so, oh gosh, I think Cherry just isn't thinking. She's going to try and jump onto the hand and bite it. Try and, like, jerk or try and surprise him, essentially.
Yeah, let me think. Okay. So attacks always hit. I think, yeah, go ahead and roll, I do think this is going to be an impaired roll, because you're not attacking with, like, a weapon, and because this is, like, a giant person. So go ahead and roll me a d4, for damage.
Excellent. I have all my dice with me, but I don't have them all out. So let me hunt around for a d4 real fast.
Oh yeah, sure. And thank you, Reborn Gamer and Aliana, for the bits. It is 100 bits to give advantage, just so people know. I mentioned that earlier. So But thank you also for the bits. That's so kind. All of it will go towards the performers tonight.
All right, you said a D4, right?
Yes, a D4.
Okay. That is a 3.
Cool. Yeah, let me roll something. I'm gonna roll a luck check. I think it's pretty unlikely that a small bite from a mouse will, cool, Reborn Gamer, let me know who you want to give that, advantage to. Thank you for the bits. I'm gonna roll a luck check. I think if I roll, actually, I think Cherry, I'll let you do this, because it more affects you, and I think it's more exciting. Go ahead and roll a d20. If it is a 20, your bite will cause the person to let go of the mouse that they have. Otherwise, they're going to take damage, but still, still have your sibling in their hand.
Gotcha. Okay. Could I say? I don't know if I want to suggest this.
It's up to you.
Could I was thinking, like, if I roll really well, then the hand opens and my sibling drops. If I roll kind of well, then the sibling drops, but I stay on the hand. And then if I roll really poorly, then we're both taken.
Yeah, if you want to do that, I think that's fine. If you roll a 20,
I just shot myself in the foot, but oh well.
if you roll, thank you all so much for this. Galaxy, you have advantage. Thanks to Reborn Gamer, and Aliana, thank you for the bits for Goblin to have a point of advantage.
Thank you so much.
I will say the luck check is not an ability check, so I'm not going to let you roll advantage on that. This is just... sorry.
Dang it.
This is just pure luck. So if you get a 20, your sibling is dropped. If you get, I'll say, a 15 to 20, or a 15 to 19, you are picked up instead. If you roll lower than a 15, you're both grabbed.
Okay.
No pressure.
Oh boy, I've never wanted a nat 20 more in my life.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Where's the box of doom when we need it?
I know, I don't have a box of doom mechanic. I'm working on it.
Oh no. I rolled a 5.
Yeah, this other hand comes down from the sky. I mean, this human to you is so tall that it's like you can't even really see like the top half of their body. So you go to bite the one hand that your sibling is in, this other hand scoops you up and like puts you in with your sibling. You're both in one hand together, and closes around the two of you. Larkspur and Seam, you two see this hand retreat with I keep wanting to say your ash lamps with Cherry Pipp, and this other circus performer.
Just
all right,
sheer
so we
horror.
We gotta do something. Not sure.
I think I'll say, if this helps the situation at all, this hand is like, you think that it's pretty unlikely that Cherry is going to be able to get out of this situation. If you want to try to run over to like, and also like, probably intuitively either of you could tell this, two mice fighting a human, like, you are not going to be able to like take down this, like that is something that is like beyond the realm of possibility, like, that you could like, take down a human being, like whittle down their hit points. But you could, if you wanted to, try to do something to get the human to drop Cherry and her sibling, although could be dangerous, with them falling. Or you could try to, like, catch a ride, like, try to, like, climb onto, like, the feet of the human or something like that to try to stay with Cherry wherever she's being taken. That is up to you. Or if you have other ideas, absolutely up to you.
if we can't cause damage, I'm definitely down to follow or try to get like a ride from them. Yeah, can you know how like sometimes people like fold their pant legs and there's like that extra little like cup in it?
So you're asking asking if this human is bisexual? Isn't that the name? If you cuff your jeans.
Yeah, sure. What's the
yes, I think definitely there is I think that's a good like idea to think of, that the pant, especially because it's so muddy. Like, you know, if somebody was out like in a field somewhere, definitely have their jeans cuffed. So yeah, I think that is the case.
Yeah, so I don't know if you can like if it's enough to hide in there, or if we can like latch on to like that part at least.
Yeah. I think definitely you would be able to do that. I think I'm going to say go ahead and roll. I think so. One of the things with Mausritter is like if you're trying to accomplish something, like a lot of times you're able to accomplish it, you just might take a condition or something like that. This person is so tall, is like preoccupied with these like squirming mice in their hand. I think if you two want to roll, I think this would be dexterity, to try to run over into, like, jump into this cuffed gene. Or I guess Larkspur if you want to do that. I don't know what Seam has, if Seam has something else planned. Go ahead and roll dexterity. I think if you fail the check, you will take the exhausted condition, but you'll get there. You'll get where you wanted to go. You'll just be very tired.
All right. Nothing unusual with that. 15.
Okay.
I have 6.
So yeah, you start running towards this, and you just ate like a whole kernel of popcorn,
yeah.
like, and you start to feel like a stitch in your side, but you are just like, yeah, you're just seeing this hand holding your friend Cherry Pipp and just going like, all the other mice are running away, like you are barreling headfirst towards danger. And so you will take the exhausted condition, but you make it into the cuff of these genes. Seam, what are you up to?
I imagine that, realizing the severity of what's currently happening, that I kind of snap out of my sheer dread and horror, and I bust out my handy dandy fish hook, and I pray that fish hook is thick enough to stab into somebody's palm, because I know it would hurt me. And kind of just swing, yank, and pull as hard as I can, probably with my little bug buddy Chewy also tugging on the other side, trying to get his strength in there too.
Yeah. So are you trying to
get that's a rope that could be used to like drag down, in case they fall.
Yeah. So are you trying to get up to the hand with your thing, or are you trying to pull the hand down?
I'm just trying to hurt him.
Okay. Cool.
So into opening a palm,
Go ahead, and I think this is going to be a strength saving throw. So you want to roll lower than 5. Your strength is... Right. I mean, you did say pulling as hard as you can, so...
That's not very hard now, is it? Oh god, we rolled a 13. Can I use advantage?
Yeah, go for it.
Alright, second try.
And you just got another point of advantage from Reborn Gamer.
We got a 3.
Nice. Woo! Yeah. So you
Reborn.
You swing this fish hook up into the hand that Cherry Pipp is in, and are pulling with all of your strength. I think this is kind of happening. Like, you can see Larkspur is like running towards the cuff of the pant. Cherry, you do this quickly enough that it's like while Cherry is like, pretty high up, but not out of the range of your fish hook. And you see the fish hook go into the human's hand. And I think I'm trying to decide what to do. I think what happens is, because you succeeded on the strength throw, I'll let you decide, do you want to try to you're pulling as hard as you can, and it's not pulling this hand down. Like you and your you and Chewie are both so small. It does do some damage, so go ahead and roll a d4 for the attack.
The pyramid one, right?
Yes, that's the pyramid one.
Little pyramid boy.
Yes.
Oof, we got a 1.
Okay, so it doesn't do too terribly much damage to this human being. I will let you decide, since you succeeded on the roll. Do you want to try to climb up this rope? Or do you want to let go of your grappling hook and try something else?
I'm gonna go with climb it.
Cool. Yeah, I'll offer the same thing to you, that you can roll strength. If you fail the roll, you still can climb, but you will have the exhausted condition. If you succeed on the roll, then you will climb and you won't have the exhausted condition.
Oof. We got a 19.
Okay, so you climb your way up, and you can see that, like, I think the last thing that you notice as you're, like, getting up to the hand, is Larkspur diving into the cuff of the jeans of this human. You can see Cherry's, like, little mouse feet kind of, like, poking out of, like, this, you know, this, like, gripped fist. And yeah, you are kind of at the hand, and you see the human's other hand start to come toward you, seeing a mouse, you know, having, you know, the feeling of this fish hook into the hand and then seeing a mouse there. What do you want to do?
I don't know. I'm so sorry. Can you repeat the scenario one more time for me to try to process?
So you got your fish hook sunk into the hand meat, the palm meat of this human being's hand.
Hand meat.
Hand meat. You climbed up the rope. You are kind of, I think, dangling at, like, you've gotten to the top of, you know, your grappling hook, fish hook. You're dangling onto it, kind of one paw, I think, on the hand, one paw around the rope, your little feet wrapped around it. Chewie is kind of buzzing around you excitedly. You see the human, now that you're kind of close to the face, you see this giant face coming closer to look at you, and their other hand also coming towards you.
Oh, man. Maybe just try to get up to the palm, and if I make it, like, stomp on that damn fish hook.
Cool. Yeah, I think this would be dexterity.
Alright.
You are, let me see what exhausted does. Hang on.
Also, if Seam has her fish hook in one hand and she sees another hand coming towards her, is this a second person, or have
No, it's the person's other hand. So Cherry
that I'm clutched in?
Yes. No. The hand that you're clutched in is the hand that has the fish hook in it. So you and so we kind of, like, rolled back a little bit so that as you were getting picked up, so that Seam could get your hand, I had kind of, like, narrated what Larkspur was doing and then narrated what Seam was doing, but they didn't happen in that order, if that makes sense. So
yes, that makes a lot more sense.
Seam was able to fish hook this hand that you are in, that you're clutched in, and is on that hand. The hand that she sees is the person's other hand, because, like, it's a human holding a hand, they've got a fish hook in it, and they're, like, gonna do something about that.
Got it.
Does that make sense as a scenario? Clear. I know the timing was a little confusing.
I was wondering how many hands were in play.
Yes, it's just a person with, like, more hands coming out of them. Two human hands. Okay, I think all that exhaustion does is it takes up one of your hang on. I think all it does is it takes up one of your slots. I don't think it affects saving throws. Let me just double check. I believe that is the case. But I don't have this other sheet open. Exhausted condition. Okay. Yes, exhaustion just takes up one of your slots, like one of your inventory slots. So it doesn't affect your saves or anything like that. So go ahead. You wanna dig your grappling hook deeper into the hand. Go ahead and roll me. I think this will be strength again. Oh, actually, sorry. No, that's not how weapon attacks works. Roll a. I think you just do damage. So you can roll, I believe, I'll say again, since this is like an improvised weapon, go ahead and roll a d4 to do damage.
Okay. 4.
Cool. Okay, so you do 4 damage. Roll me a dexterity save.
That'd be with a d20, yeah?
Yes, with a d20.
1.
Okay, you kind of manage to duck out of the way as this other hand tries to grab you. You scamper up onto the hand. Your grappling hook is behind you, dug into the person's hand. You are kind of sitting, like if this was a person holding, you're kind of like dodged out of the way and are like over here, scrambled over by the thumb. And this hand is kind of frantically grabbing at you.
I can still do things, right? So can I bust out my bow and arrow? I can see this person's face, right?
Yeah, you can see their face.
I think we shall continue the trend of Seam trying to shoot people's eyes out with my bow and arrow.
Oh my gosh.
Bust it out and just let one loose.
Yeah, I think Reborn Gamer just did another 100 bits. I am not sure who they're giving advantage to. I think Galaxy. Oh, Galaxy. Yeah, they said Galaxy. Okay. So you'll have that. And okay, so you're attacking with your bow and arrow. What is the damage dice on that?
Oof, I have no idea. I don't have my things.
Let me check. I have it as well.
So sorry.
No, you're fine. I just have to scroll to where it is. I think I passed it. Hang on. I think it's a D6. Do you know if your bow and arrow is heavy ranged, right? So it's both paws.
Yeah.
I believe. D8. So that's the one that's like 2 pyramids on top of each other. That's this little one.
This one? Question mark.
Yes. Correct.
Cool. Ooh, 4.
Okay, so you do 4 damage, and I think this is gonna be, because you're trying to hit the person's eye, which I think is a little different than just like rolling to attack. You're like rolling to attack a specific thing. So I think this will be dexterity, I think. So go ahead and roll me, dexterity save to see if it hits what you're going for.
5.
5. Okay, yeah. You shoot a tiny arrow. I don't think it. I'm trying to think of like how I'm trying to think realistically. A tiny little bow and arrow from a mouse.
I'm imagining like toothpick size.
Yeah. I'm
maybe a little
bit
smaller.
I'm gonna roll luck to see if this is like, like damage, like this is like they're gonna be like severely injured, or if it's gonna be like, when you're walking in the woods and like a branch comes and hits you in the face and like, gets your eye. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna roll. I'll let I think it's more fun. I think the game has me roll luck checks, but I think it's more fun for you all to roll them. Seam, go ahead and roll me a luck check. So you just roll a d20. And I think if it is a 15 or higher, it is like, actually hurts this person's eye. Otherwise it does damage to them, but it's not like they're, gonna be blinded in one eye or something like that.
I've been rolling high all day. Let's pray it keeps going.
Woo!
13. Can I use advantage roll? That doesn't count for luck or no?
I think the luck I'm not gonna do advantage because this is supposed to be something kind of out of your control.
Yeah.
So yeah, you definitely do this. And the person kind of like goes like this. Go ahead and roll me another dexterity save with advantage, because they're gonna try to grab you again, but you did just shoot an arrow at their face. So roll 2d20 and take the lower number. A 6, you said?
Wait, roll twice? I mean, yeah, a 6 and an 8, so
okay,
6.
Yes. So yeah, you're just kind of dancing around this person's hand. Meanwhile, Larkspur, you can tell, especially because you're in the pant leg, this person, as you can't really see what's happening above you because of your position. Cherry, you can feel this hand kind of like moving around. And I think Larkspur, you can tell this human is like moving towards something, and you peek out over the edge of this cuffed pant leg and see a huge contraption kind of ahead of you. I think roll me a will save to see if you would know what this is.
The 20 with the D20?
Yes, with the D20. And you want to get lower than your will is lower than a 3.
Oh my gosh. All right. 2, 8, damn it.
I think you can tell there's wheels on it. You can tell it's some sort of vehicle, but you're not sure exactly what you're headed towards. So yeah, you kind of head towards this. You see that you're headed towards this vehicle. Cherry, what do you think you're doing inside this fist?
I think that the initial, like, don't think, just act thought has kind of dissipated. And it's just like white hot fear. Like, she is scratching, she's biting, she's doing everything that she can to get out of this hand.
Yeah, I think it's your sister who's in here with you. I think that makes sense. I mean, you talked about siblings anyway, but I think this is maybe your older sister, who's also been grabbed, is just like completely afraid, like frozen with fear, not able to do anything to help. Cherry, you've been in some scraps. This is not the first danger you've been in. You're maybe a little bit more equipped for this. So yeah, go ahead and I'll say another D4. To try to do some damage to the hand that you're in.
Well, I don't know why I keep putting my D4 away. I'm gonna have to use it. Where did you go?
If this was any other kind of creature, you all would have done significant damage to it, but
yeah, I would have already been
huge human, you know.
All right, here we go. That is a 4.
Okay, cool. So the next thing that's gonna happen, Seam, I'm gonna have you roll with advantage. Roll me, I think this has to be strength. So go ahead and roll me a strength saving throw. Roll the D20 twice and take the lower number.
We got a 1 and a 15.
Okay, you managed to grip on as this hand tries to just whip you off of it. I gave you advantage because Cherry is also inside the hand, like biting and scratching and stuff like that. So the hand is
causing some damage.
Yeah, causing some damage. You managed to, I think what happens is you start to be thrown off and manage to grab on to your grappling hook, like the string from your grappling hook. Actually, I think that Chewy flies it over to you as you're like being flung off of this hand. You grab onto this grappling hook string and are able to hold on. I'm gonna roll something. I'm gonna roll something to see if this person notices that you're still on their hand. Okay. So I got a 16, which is good because I was rolling for you, so a higher number is good. You're again dangling from this fish hook. Larkspur, you head over
some wheels.
Yes, you're going towards the thing on wheels. The cuff of the jeans that you're in soars into the sky as you feel yourself, like the leg being like flung over something, getting onto this vehicle, and starts to move. You all are being taken someplace else. Seam, you are holding on to your grappling hook for dear life as this bike starts to move. And I think maybe the person is like holding on to the fish hook, but it's not. I don't know how you could ride a bike with like a fish hook just like dug into your hand. This is a bike, by the way. The person is riding a bike, so the humans in the audience would understand what's happening. I don't think the mice know. But actually, before the bike starts going, Cherry, you and your sister are dumped into a mason jar. The lid is affixed, and put into, like a little holder on the bike. And you all are being driven on a bike far, far from anywhere that you've ever been. Seam, dangling by a thread, literally.
Like a literal.
Yeah. I think if you want to, what do you think Seam is doing in this situation? You're high above the ground, you're dangling onto this thread. Is there something that you think that you're going to try to be doing, before, as the bike starts to go?
Can I know what this person is wearing? Like, top-wise?
Oh, yeah. I think they're wearing, like a light jacket. Like maybe a hooded jacket or something. Like I said, it's not, like, super, super cold. It's not super, super warm either, springtime weather. So definitely long sleeves. And, like, pockets.
Maybe as this is happening, trying to sneak into the front pouch of their sweatshirt, or like into the sleeve, just try to get somewhere more stable where I'm not going to be like in danger of being whipped around.
I think the end of your your grappling hook kind of swings close to, as Cherry is being dumped into this jar, the end of the string that you're on is kind of swinging swinging towards a pocket or something like that. And go ahead, and I think this will be the same thing. You'll be able to make it into the pocket, but you might have exhaustion. But go ahead and roll. I think this would be dexterity to try to swing your way into the pocket.
Oof, 11.
11. Okay, so I think you will have exhaustion. Which, by the way, you all have grit now. So if you want to use grit on that, or if you want to hang on to it in case you get like a more significant kind of condition, you can do that. But yeah, you seem kind of thud into the side of this pocket and just feel like you just did so much. Like, you just shot this human in the face, like, or biting them, frantically fighting. Like, all of you just feel, I think, even if you're not mechanically exhausted, feel very tired from the things that you've been trying to do. And Cherry, you and your sister are in this mason jar with the lid on. Let me go to my notes. You're plopped kind of unceremoniously into the slippery mason jar. The lid screwed on very tight. The world around you suddenly is moving very quickly. Your vision is warped by the thick curved glass, so you're kind of disoriented. And you can feel, like I kind of mentioned this already, you can feel the jar being like put into something like on the vehicle. You can you feel yourself moving very quickly. All of you do. Faster probably than you've ever moved in your life. I think anyone who is peeking out of things can see like the world going by you very quickly. And it's...
Could I do something real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just before we move on.
Yeah.
So I don't have this on my character sheet, but I know we talked about this last time. So if you don't want to allow this, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But I remember that one of my weapons was I had like a slingshot.
Oh, yes.
With the idea I would use it to like kind of flick my younger siblings.
Yeah.
Is there any way, are there like holes poked into the top of this mason jar?
I don't think there are. I think that's something that is, like kind of scary for you too, that you're put into this jar, and it's big and you're small, so you're not like, I'm gonna die in here like immediately. But it is scary that they're like, whoever this human is not really taking your needs into consideration. Yeah.
No, if there were holes poked into the top, I was gonna ask if I could take whatever it was I was using to like my younger siblings to like leave a trail, Hansel and Gretel style.
Oh, yeah. I don't think there are holes. I didn't like write this in my notes, but my concept was that like this is not somebody who is like doing this like take care of you or something like that. And so yeah, there's no holes in this jar or anything. It's just a tightly screwed on mason jar.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and I think you're moving very quickly for a while before I think all of you kind of put together, because I think there are like mouse bikes. Like I think there are. It's not something that's totally foreign to you. It's just the one that you're on is huge. That you all put together that you are on a bike, and you are being taken very, very far away from Calvington. And I think with that, we will take our halfway break. On a little bit of a, I almost said a cliff note, a little bit of a cliffhanger. We've got some people in the chat saying, that the humans should have gone to the hospital to test for diseases as soon as you bit them.
Ask if rabies was an option.
I mean, if you want to say that one of you has rabies, I feel like that has some serious implications for the rest of your character as well.
Yeah, right. Like...
But also mentioned a child would be crying and then you would all be dead from a temper tantrum. So if this was a kid, which I don't think any of you have a real feel for like how old this human is, because it's just like, you know, Vanessa, you mentioned Attack on Titan. I think, you know, this isn't a Titan, but like it's kind of hard to tell with Titans like what exactly is going on age-wise. So yeah, we're going to take a quick break. I think 10 minutes. So we'll be back at I'll just say 8:10 Eastern Standard Time. I know we've got some different time zones in here. So we'll be back in 10 minutes with some more adventures from our little mice. Again, thank you to Reborn Gamer and Aliana and Captain Freestar and Sky for all of the tips. So generous, super helpful. And then also thank you Sleep Newt for the follow. While we're in roleplay, I can't, you know, like address chat as much and like get super involved, but I really appreciate, we all really appreciate the support. So we will see you all back here in, let's say in 10 minutes. So let's do 8:12 to give you the full 10 minutes. And while we're on a break, enjoy my cat and some information about the players tonight. And we'll see you all in 10 minutes. Bye. Welcome back to us. A lot of you have already been here in the chat while we've been getting our drinks and getting our snacks. I believe Sierra has some popcorn now.
Yeah.
Inspired by the events that have transpired thus far. If you are just joining us for the second half of the stream, first of all, welcome. Second of all, what you've missed so far was a gallant battle between primarily Seam Thorn, really going in there, shooting for the eyes, making a valiant effort. And actually, Nessa, I think you might be frozen.
Yeah, I just got the not responding screen like last time.
Oh no! Go ahead if you need to reconnect or anything. Go for it while I do the recap.
Nope.
I will pay attention if you're in the waiting room and try to remember to let you back in. So Seam Thorn put up a valiant fight. A human being came, took the circus tent away, grabbed our mice adventurers, Cherry Pipp and one of her sisters, also caught up in the hand of this human. Larkspur Thorne managed to run and dive into the cuffed jeans of the human being before the human took off on their bike. Seam tried valiantly to try to get Cherry Pipp out of there, do some damage to this human being. Managed to do some damage, managed to put up quite a fight, was not captured. Let me see, admit. Let her in. I think probably our cameras are going to get messed up for 1 second while we're doing yes. So if that happens, just hang on. I think I need to drag this over here. Yes, we're back. And so that's basically a recap. They've been taken far from home, and also have had some help from all of you in the chat. Reborn Gamer, Aliana, Let's see who else. Sky and Captain Freestar. I also gave Captain Freestar a shout out because she also streams. If you like D&D, she also has a channel that she's on called Twisted Team, and they play, or tabletop games, I should say, but they do play D&D. So we can get back into it because we kind of are on a little bit of a cliffhanger. I will go ahead and let my guests reintroduce themselves for anyone who's joining, and then I will really quickly go over some streams I have, upcoming streams. So if you liked this one and you're new to the channel, I'll let you know what I have coming up. But before we do that, Vanessa, do you want to go ahead and reintroduce yourself?
Hello, I am GalaxyWandererX, aka Vanessa, or Nessa if that works for you. I am a variety streamer here on Twitch. I play many of the video games, including games such as Call of Duty, or Little Nightmares, or Dead by Daylight, or Stardew Valley, and the like. And I'm just happy to exist and be here. I hope you're all having a lovely existence, also existing with me in the same existence.
Perfect. Eloquently spoken. Sierra, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Sierra, Super Silly Sierra on the internet. I'm a comic concierge, and I do reviews on YouTube and Twitch, and am here to help with people who want to start reading comics. I can answer questions, I can give recommendations, and yeah, I'm just on the internet playing video games sometimes. Not a whole bunch, but that's about it.
Cool. Yeah. And Goblin, do you want to talk a little bit about what you do?
Sure. Well, I'm Goblin, coming to you live from the trash heap that I call home. I play a lot of video games. I'm a variety streamer. I doodle. I do a bunch of art. I kind of just run around on Twitch and cause chaos.
The most wonderful kind of chaos.
Kind of my whole deal. What was that?
I said the most wonderful kind of chaos.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, and I'm Taylor. This Roll for Felicity is my Twitch channel. I play serialized one-shots. So, for example, this one-shot with these mice, they have appeared in one-shot previous where they fought a snake. We've made references to that. But my whole thing is, I know there's a lot of tabletop content. And if you're anything like me, you probably have a couple of campaign-length Twitch streamers or YouTube channels or whatever else that you watch. And you know, maybe you don't have time to get into another campaign, but you maybe still want to see like kind of what other systems there are other than D&D, or find new tabletop players who you like, but you don't have time for committing to a campaign, which I completely understand. And that's where I come in. I play a lot of different game systems. I do these one-shots where, you know, I bring back the same people, we play in the same system, we continue the story, but it's not a campaign, so if you have to miss one, that's totally fine. You can watch another one, don't have to catch up with that. And then I also like to meet new people, bring new people into, like, tabletop gaming, or connect with, like, other tabletop gamers. So that's kind of my whole thing. I also do play video games on stream to kind of fill out my schedule a little bit. So the game that I'm working on right now is I'm playing Phoenix Wright. That's on Tuesdays and Wednesdays usually. Also sometimes on Tuesdays and Wednesdays I do like behind the scenes kind of streams for tabletop games or D&D, my home game. This Saturday, I am playing Monster of the Week with some very wonderful people, including my moderator Melanie, who's in chat. And my husband, who you probably heard earlier, kind of microwaving some things in the background while the mice were fighting a human being. And then on the 17th, which is a Saturday, I'm playing a D&D one-shot called Goblin Squad, which unfortunately does not feature our friend Goblin here, but some different goblins, including Melanie. Oh wow, I had the command and then my bot just automatically did it. The command I have as the MooBot just dropped in chat some of the stuff I have coming up. But yeah, Goblin Squad is my all Goblin Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition serialized one shots. So if you like what we're doing today, you might enjoy that. And then also, of course, any of the players who are featured today, you should all give them a follow because they're all wonderful. But I'm sure that you are tired of hearing me just talk about this channel and you want to find out what's going to happen with these mice. So let's get back into it. So you all were carried by different means, far, far, far from Calvington, far, far, far from the circus. And I don't know if, because you're moving so quickly, I don't know if any of you can tell exactly where you are right now, although there will be chances, since a couple of you are kind of cartographers, might be a chance for you to kind of figure out where you are. Let me get to where we are in my notes. You feel yourself traveling for a while. I think it's hard to tell exactly how long. Mice are not super fast. So even if it's like, maybe 10 minutes of a human riding a bike, that's very, very far for mice. So you travel for a while. Cherry, you in your jar with your sister, do you think there's anything that you're talking to your sister about? And also, Reborn Gamer, another 100 bits for Sierra to have advantage on a roll. And another 100 bits for Goblin for advantage on a roll. Just really spreading the love. Thank you so much, Reborn Gamer, for that. But yeah, Cherry, what do you think? Do you think you're talking to your sister while you are in this jar during the trip?
So, I feel like this. You said that this was my older sister, right?
Yes,
or my older sibling.
Yes, yeah. I think your older sister, yeah.
Gotcha. I feel like I like the idea of this older sister, like very much being in line with like the family business and like not like posed to take over the circus, but if something does go horribly wrong, like she's oh goodness gracious.
The Reborn Gamer, thank you so much for the 5 gifted. So kind of you. I'm going to go ahead and all these little things behind me are tokens for when I have subscribers. So I will get hopping, making some tokens for all of you. Thank you so much for the gifted subs. I really appreciate that. Sorry, go ahead, Sherry.
I really like the idea of the dynamic between the older sister, who is very, not necessarily like the homebody, but the person who is much more oriented towards keeping the circus going, as opposed to Cherry, who is very much like wants to leave the nest, wants to go out and explore, and has like had an experience where she like has had to turn back to her family and back to the circus. And so I think the conversation like kind of veers towards that. Like I think this is an older sister that Cherry kind of butts heads with because of that dynamic. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the older sister might be chastising me for like
yeah.
Kind of chastising me for like you should have gotten away, you should have done this, why did you come after me, that was dumb.
Yeah, I think your sister is kind of like for a while you're just in silence because she's very shaken up. I think your sister is named Pecan, and she's just kind of sitting in silence and then says and you can hear like the gears of the bike kind of turning as you're traveling further and further from home, and she says, you could have stayed behind, you didn't have to get stuck here with me.
I wasn't gonna just leave you to the human. What? That's dumb.
Well, now we're both with the humans, so how did that turn out?
Well, if you had talked to Larkspur and had started doing your cartography like I have, maybe you would have brushed up on your map making skills.
How would that have helped me not be grabbed by a human? I don't understand how. Oh, if you would have, this is so like you, Cherry. You always have to find a reason for why something's like not your fault, and it's not your fault that I got grabbed. I'm not gonna put that on you. But I mean, it's not your fault that I got grabbed. It is kind of your fault that you got grabbed, because you could have just run away. It's not like a snake. It's not like a snake or a rat. This is a human being. How do you think you're gonna fight them?
I wasn't gonna let them take my sister away. I'm sorry. You're welcome, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the effort, but I don't appreciate the outcome because now both of us are here.
Well, we can't really do much to change the outcome, so, why don't we spend our energy instead of shouting at one another? Pecan. Why don't... As I was saying, if you had focused on your cartography skills, then maybe you would have noticed,
And I start pointing to different, maybe... I'm definitely making these up by the seat of my pants.
Just to try to argue with your sister. Yeah.
I know I'm in the wrong here, but I refuse to admit that.
Well, I really think that we should just stop. I think you're right. We should stop yelling at each other. Not because I think you're right about everything else, but because we only have so much air in this jar. And I don't want to die suffocated here next to you because you kept baiting me into an argument.
Oh, I'm the one who baited you into an argument. I'm sorry. I was just silent. I was sitting. Oh, okay. The silent treatment. Very. Who's the older one here?
Music is very fitting.
Yeah. Yeah, the other two of you. Oh, I will say, Seam, I think, as you made it into the pocket, Chewy, flew in, with your grappling hook, had the other hand of it, and at some point, the human maybe dropped it or something like that. So you do have your grappling hook. I do think, go ahead and mark a usage slot on that, because I think it has been through quite a bit of,
an ordeal.
It's a little bit bent up.
Oh no.
But yeah, not the end of the world. It's just, a little bit of wear and tear. So yeah, you arrive at this what you would recognize to be a human home. I mean, it is enormous. But Seam, especially you, have had experience with human houses before. So you see this house looming ahead of you as I'm assuming that you're kind of various times all of you are peeking out trying to see what's going on. And this person, the heavy thud as they're headed in, door opens. You feel yourself going up some stairs. And Cherry, you and your sister are, well, I didn't narrate this, but did pull the jar out of took the jar with them. You weren't just left out on the bike, suffocating. And you hear, you can see the flesh of the human hand wrapped around this, mason jar, this big meaty hand, and you hear the unscrewing, and you are once again dumped into another location. The lid of the jar is unscrewed. You're dumped, tumbling into a soft material that smells like shredded paper. And this human face, you're also in a cage. That's also notable. You're inside of a cage. The lid of the cage closes as soon as you fall, and this human face is looming in front of the cage, this booming voice. Unintelligible. You don't speak the same language as the humans. And also so much bigger and louder than you. Seam and Larkspur. This human doesn't know, presumably, where you are. That they have some hitchhikers. You come to a rest inside this room. Still, in the pant leg and in the pocket. Is there anything that you would like to do?
Sorry. Go ahead,
No, you
Vanessa.
go first. Nose goes.
Dang it. So if they're standing still at the cage with their face pressed against it,
Yeah.
I'm assuming I have a chance to climb out or roll out.
Yes.
also I'm gonna note that I have, because I think the last game I had the button needle. Is that still available? That's still.
Yes. Yeah. You still have the deal. You all still have all your stuff. So from the last game, like this person didn't like take stuff off of you. Just kind of captured
Or,
you.
like,
So
lose
Cherry,
it.
you have your magic, your magic stone, and all of you have like all of your equipment and things like that.
Okay, so I do have the needle, and I'm gonna say I have it like above my head, because just like seems to be the best like defense, even for just like regular predators that like come, because it usually comes overhead. So I'm just running around like this right now, trying to find something to hide behind.
Yeah. You are so low to the ground. You kind of tumble out of the pant leg, land in I think like some clothing. You can tell it's like fabric, some kind of human clothing, and come to your feet with you're ready to go whenever your next opening is. Seam, you and Chewie are in this sweatshirt pocket. You can feel like above you, kind of pressed into the edge of like something, a table, a desk, something like that, where you are.
Oof. I guess since since we got some, maybe I try to like look out, see if I can possibly throw myself onto like the ledge of this thing that we're pressing up against, maybe grab on for my life, try to be as inconspicuous as possible.
I think while this is happening, okay, I think this will be I can't decide strength or dexterity. I think it'll be strength, because you kind of have to heave yourself up and do some like squirming. So go ahead and roll me a strength save, and you want to get lower than a 5.
We got a 20. I'm gonna go ahead and use an advantage roll.
Yes, absolutely.
7. God damn it!
So you try to like get yourself positioned up onto this like desk or table or whatever, and Chewie is kind of like buzzing around you, trying to like push, I think like on your haunches, like trying to push you up a little bit to help you. And you're just like, you're exhausted. You've been through all of this stuff. You try to swing yourself, because this is kind of above you, and you have to like kind of make a reach, and your hands grip on to the wood. Your little nail paws kind of scrabble at it as you fall. Luckily, the ground is covered in clothes, blankets. This is a very messy person. It seems like, yeah. And so you fall into a pile of clothes. I think, just for convenience's sake, I think you fall somewhere close to Larkspur.
Not
Larkspur,
too close.
not too close. You don't want to get impaled. Cherry, what do you think you're doing as you've been dumped into this cage?
I think I'm just kind of taking stock of my surroundings. Is this the kind of cage where it's like, what do you call it? Oh my gosh. It's like metal bars all around?
It is metal
like...
bars, yeah.
Okay.
It's like coated in that like kind of plasticky, you know what I mean? Where it's like a wire hanger, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. I guess this would be too good. This would be too good to be true, but I have to ask: would I be able to wriggle out from between the bars?
You would not be able to wriggle out as it is now.
I see.
But I mean, you have like some weapons. You have some friends. It's looking at it, you feel like it wouldn't be impossible for you to bend these bars. But this human is like kind of just standing there, so you feel like might be a good idea to wait to see if they leave, because they're almost...
Oh, the human is still standing there?
Yes, the face is like this is like right after you get dumped, so the human is like looking at you and talking, but you don't understand what they're saying.
Oh gosh, I, the player, don't want to do this, but I feel like this is exactly what Cherry would do.
Go for it. What would Cherry do?
Her first thought is she's gonna take her slingshot and try and get it in an eye.
Cool. Okay, so go ahead and roll.
I love we just go for eyes.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, it's right there. I might as well.
Go ahead and roll your slingshot damage. I can't remember what that is. I think it's a D4. For a not improvised, light range. Oh, D6. It's a D6. So in Mausritter, for anybody who's watching who isn't familiar with like the rule set, unlike D&D, you don't roll to hit. Whenever you make an attack, it automatically hits and does a certain amount of damage. If it is something that is impaired in some way, like if the creature has cover or armor or something like that, it could be a D4 by default. If it's empowered by something else, it's a D12. Otherwise, each weapon has its own dice that you roll. What did you get on that? What did you get on that D6?
I got a 3.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to roll again, like I did before. Or actually, I'll have you roll to see again, like it did with before with the bow and arrow, if it like does damage to the eye specifically, or if it kind of pings off or something else. So go ahead and roll me a D20. And I'll say since you only did 3 damage, if you get an 18 or higher, it squarely hits the person in the eye.
Gotcha. I'm using Sandman's D20 because my other one did me dirty. It is in dice jail now.
It's in dice jail.
Yes.
So here we go. Honey, we're breaking up. We rolled a 7. No, I'm sorry. That's good. That's good. That's good in this game. I rolled a 17.
You rolled a 17, but you had to get an 18 or higher. So the damage still happens. But unfortunately, you do still have to break up with Sandman.
Dang it!
So yeah, you still do the damage, but again, the person kind of like, maybe because they've had their eye targeted by a mouse recently, kind of like cringes back. I will say the person doesn't seem to be like that surprised that like you all have like weapons and things like that. Because this is like a world where like magic exists, so that's up to you. I don't think you know too much about humans, but at the very least you're like, okay, well they know we have this person isn't like shocked that you have like bows and arrows and things like that, and also isn't shocked that they found a mouse circus. It's hard exactly to tell what's going on, but I think though you see them like lean back so that they don't get their eye taken out, and then turn and walk out of the room, leaving the door open, and leaving you and your sister and Larkspur and Seam alone in this human house.
Do I have any idea that Larkspur and Seam are there?
I don't think you do. Because I think you knew that Seam was there at some point. Because she was like, fighting, and you could probably hear her like with her, trying to like fight the human. But I don't think you would know that they're there. But Vanessa, I think you were gonna say something too.
Oh, I was gonna say I like the idea that this human has purposefully targeted like the circus just to get circus mice to start like his own little circus mice business, because that might be like a rare thing in the human world where like mice are like like rarities, like when it comes to like having your own freaking little mouse circus.
Yeah,
I just thought that was a good idea.
I love
they're already trained.
Yeah, so you wouldn't have to do anything.
Mouse circus.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that. I think if nobody has immediately a thing that they're going to do, Cherry, your sister again has said she's not going to be talking to you for a little bit. But you see like kind of a rustling under this papery like bedding in the cage, and another little mouse. I think this is like a field mouse. So like kind of the dappled like brown fur, like pokes his head out of the bedding and says, "Oh, new visitors, welcome to the cage.
Well, hi. I'm Cherry. What's your name?
My name's Piper, and welcome. And he kind of like gets all the way out, and he says, Piper Tap is my name. And you are, and turns to your sister, and she just kind of turns very slowly and says, I'm Pecan, and that's all I'll say.
I just kind of roll my eyes to Piper.
So what's the deal here? You call this a cage?
I don't know if I would have any idea what a cage is.
Yeah, okay, I do just have to say, Sleep Child redeemed channel points to change Piper's name to Gerb. So, retroactively, this is Gerb Tap, the mouse, not Piper. Maybe you'll meet another mouse named Piper. I might reuse that. But, so Gerb says, yes, this is the cage. Some of us are taken from the cage. Some of us are left in the cage. But yeah, I can tell you a little bit about what I know if you'd like. And I think Larkspur and Seam, you can hear, like, you know, this other mouse talking from where you are.
Are we together or just close by? Like, have we, like, teamed up again, or are we still, like, in the maze of clothing?
I think you could have found each other.
Okay.
I don't think Seam fell terribly far from where you landed.
Just making sure.
I might hit him with one of those. Hello.
Yeah, Goblin, you hear Seam, the voice of Seam say hello from below you.
Seam? Is that you?
Cherry. Where are you?
I'm up here. I met this person named Gerb. I don't know what their deal is. But we're in this thing. Gerb called it.
I keep almost saying Piper, and I have to catch myself.
Yeah, you know, things change.
Gerb called it a cage. I don't know what's up, but I can't move to you. You're gonna have to come to me.
Just waiting to see if perhaps Larkspur heard our cry for hellos.
I don't, we gotta figure out how to get up there, right? Like, do you think, oh my gosh, Chewy, do you think Chewy could maybe get one of us up there? Or can at least scope out the place?
Yeah, Chewy's not terribly big. I don't think Chewy's strong enough to carry one of you up. But could definitely scout if you want him to.
Yeah, I think we'll do that. So, Chewy, can you go ahead and check on Cherry for us, please?
Chewy ruffles his wings and does a little like chirp sound, and like buzzes around your head once and then goes up. Cherry, you see Chewy kind of do a circle, kind of a little bit slower, around the cage. I think the cage is small enough that Chewy can fly through, since he is considerably smaller than a mouse. A little beetle kind of flies through. I think lands on lands on your arm or something like that, and gives you a little nuzzle as if to say like, "Hey, you know, we're here for you." It flies back down, and I think is able to communicate. We established this the last one shot. Kind of like a Han Solo Chewbacca situation, which makes sense from the name Chewie. That you can understand each other, but you can't speak each other's language. So he kind of communicates to you what the situation is, which is a big cage. I think it's like a metal like wire cage with some white plastic around the wires, filled with some shredded paper or something like that, some bedding, with 3 mice inside, one of whom is Cherry Pipp, also her sister, who I don't know if you two would know or not. I guess that's kind of up to you. And then Gerb, a mouse who you do not know.
I imagine that Seam has like not like basic knowledge necessarily, but like understands what a cage is, just because, you know, like living within like the general vicinity of humans. I imagine that, you know, people would set out traps and stuff. But so I think she's like immediately like concerned because she doesn't know what kind of cage it is because she can't really see it from down there. So she's like, what if this is one of those scary ones, you know? Like,
Yeah.
so I think just a little distressed at the idea.
Yeah.
I don't think my character's ever really been in a house and maybe thinks it's like some cave or something, like hasn't really comprehended like a full building yet or really like been in a building.
Yeah.
And then all the clothes and whatnot may just look like mounds and stuff, but
Yeah.
can we like take note of anything special in the room maybe?
Yes, definitely.
Is that weird?
No. I think if you're kind of looking around, you can kind of get the basic layout of this room. So you can see, you can't see the cage, but you can see that it's sitting on like some sort of table or something. You can't quite see what's on top of it, but you can see like the legs going up. The floor, where you can see the floor, has some green carpet. And it, like I said, it is fairly strewn with clothes, some blankets. There's some books, some toys, some degree of like dirty dishes, and like wrappers, kind of food trash. Not like the messiest room you've ever seen. Well, two of you have not seen a human room before, but not the messiest room, but like definitely not the neatest either. And I think you can see there's a window in the bedroom, to like kind of to the left, I'll say. And there's a door that the person just went out of, that is slightly ajar, and then there's another door that's closed. And I'll also say too, just to give you some time to like think about kind of what you want to do, for the purposes of the rules of the game, you'll maybe remember this from last time. I'm gonna switch over to turns, which is when you're in some sort of like dungeon area, which I'm considering this as a kind of dungeon. So every 3 turns I'll roll for an encounter, same as last time. That doesn't mean you get an encounter. If I roll a certain number, then it's, you know, just because I'm rolling for a encounter doesn't mean an encounter is going to happen. I'm rolling to see if an encounter happens. And then also if you were using light sources, each turn would count a tick of the light source. You don't need to use light source here. It's bright. It's daytime and there's a light on. And so if you want to take about a turn, each turn is about 10 minutes. So if you want to take 10 minutes to like do a specific thing, you can do that. And also, since you're not in the heat of like a fight, if you wanted to do something like climb up on something or look around, those things I won't require a roll, because the idea is that like when mice are not like under pressure, you're doing things very cautiously, you're using your tools, it just takes time to do it, if that makes sense.
Okay. Where is this cage positioned on the table?
I feel like I need to know what information you're looking for, because I don't know what that means. You can see up there, so I'll describe what's on the table a little bit. You can see it's a desk, whether you know what like a desk is, whether Cherry knows, Goblin knows what a desk is. So it's a desk, and there's like some papers, pencils, erasers, crayons, some crumbs, food crumbs, some like fidget toys, like maybe 1 or 2 fidget toys on the desk. Yeah.
Okay. Here's my... I'm feeling the chaos come up.
Oh god.
How... I guess a better question would be, how big is this cage? Is it built to fit 3 different mice in it?
Yes, it's definitely like a hamster cage. So it's probably like, I don't know, like this. You can't see. Let me back up. You can't see where my hands are. Like maybe like this big and like this tall.
Okay. All right. And then going back to my first question, or
Yeah.
rephrasing my first question, is the cage kind of on the corner of the desk? Like I'm assuming there's like the work space, or like Cherry wouldn't know what that was, but like a cleared off area, and then it's kind of off towards a corner.
Yeah, I think what's happened is I think maybe what's happened is that like whoever this person is like put this on the desk, like maybe not towards the edge, but like while using the desk it's kind of shifted. It's not like bolted into place. It's kind of been scooted over. So it is kind of close to an edge. The chat, cool. I think, is picking up what you're putting on. Sleep Child just said, "May Gerb guide you."
Oh, I love it. Thank you, Sleep Child. I'm wondering if I don't know if I would be able to pull this off alone, but I'm thinking that if I can convince Gerb to like kind of like somehow scoot the cage a little bit closer to the edge, and then I get Seam to use her grappling hook to like continue pulling from the outside.
Yeah.
And then with the goal in mind being to like eventually get it off the desk and like just tip over and hopefully break.
Yeah. What do you say to Gerb? Like I think let's have I think this needs to be a conversation with him.
Sure, yeah.
So he's kind of saying like, do you want me to tell you about kind of the house, the situation? I can tell you what I know.
I mean, sure, but I also I don't want to stay here. Do you want to stay here? Is that something you want?
Yes, I do want to. I want to stay in the cage. I've been out of the cage. I'll tell you, I've been out of the cage, and I did not like what I found.
What did you find? I'm so curious.
I think Gerb like talks a little bit louder and says, I heard some other mice around, so I don't know if you're interested in what I have to say. Are any of you familiar with Leo Tigra?
Leo Tigra.
And I think for Cherry and Larkspur, since you've established that you've done like some traveling, some scouting, go ahead and both of you roll will saves to see if you know this or not. I know that's not your strong suit, Larkspur.
Oh, 4! Ah!
So close.
Almost!
Oh my god, I rolled an 11 and my will is a 10.
You do. Some of you might have advantage. I don't know who still has advantage.
Oh, yes, I do. I have inspiration. Oh my god.
Yes. Shout out to the chat. Let's see if Cherry knows who Leo Tigra is.
That's a 5!
Yes, Cherry, you do know who Leo Tigra is. So last session, we established that there was a cat warlord that was kind of in charge of like the area that you all live in, whose name was Cattlethrax. Leo Tigra, you know, is another cat warlord, from kind of a little bit further away, like maybe the edges of where you really are familiar with. And you know that she is a house cat who has dominion over like a specific house.
Do you mean to tell me that Leo Tigre lives here?
Yes, that is what I mean to tell you. So if you're in the cage, you don't have to deal with Leo Tigra. She won't bother you. We're in the cage. We're safe from her. But her I don't know what you've heard. I don't know what all of you have heard. But to please Leo Tigra, the mice outside of the cage have to trim their whiskers. So as not to be too powerful, some say. She says it's because it looks nice. She doesn't like the long whiskers. But some people say it's because she doesn't want any of us to be too strong. It dulls the senses to have your whiskers trimmed.
Interesting. I still want to leave.
Yeah. Gerb says, "Well, you're more than you're more than welcome to leave. I can't keep you here. I've made it out before. You know, you can I don't know if you have any sort of tools with you or anything. You could try to pry the bars open. It's not too terribly difficult."
I mean, I don't, but I know that my companions might.
I'm looking at my character sheet. I don't really have much that I could do to the cage.
Yeah, you do know that Larkspur has a needle sword that could, you know, maybe be useful.
Excellent. In that case,
I guess that as a hook. Like, can I do we have something like
climb?
a rope that can okay?
Yeah, I think if you want to take a turn, the two of you, to try to climb up onto the desk. I mean, you have a grappling hook. You're not under any sort of
Oh, let's use the grappling hook.
I mean, between the
Can
two
we
things,
possibly,
though. Yeah, go ahead.
call
Vanessa.
Chewie back to pick up the needle sword.
Oh, yeah. Chewie could definitely do that. Yeah. Yeah, I think. Yeah, Chewie. You say that. You know, Larkspur is kind of saying oh, maybe we could climb up. I could use my sword. And you say maybe we could call Chewie to do this. And Chewie kind of flies over to you, Larkspur, and rests on your sword that you still, I think, have just above your head.
Yeah.
And kind of tugs at it a little bit.
All right, and then we let it go. You can have it.
Yeah, Chewie flies up with this needle sword.
all right. I mean, I'm gonna grab it and I'm gonna try and pry the bars open.
Yeah, I think Pecan very resentfully comes over and helps you. And it does take a turn to do. It takes about 10 minutes. But you're able to kind of both of you, I think, get a thing where you're kind of leaning one way and then leaning the other way and then leaning one way and then leaning the other way. Gerb's just kind of watching, shaking his head, tut-tutting at you. And you're able to get some of the wires bent wide enough that you and Pecan can get out of the cage.
Cool. Do I have we heard or seen anything that alludes to a cat being here?
You do not. It might be hard to tell from your vantage point, but I think Seam and Larkspur, having heard, you could have heard what Gerb said while you're waiting for actually. Is there anything that the two of you want to do while you're waiting for Cherry to get out, or are you just kind of standing and waiting to see how that goes?
Maybe looking for an exit.
Looking at that window, real
Yeah.
Is there any way we can pry that open?
Yeah. Seam, you go over to the window. And in the 10 minutes while you kind of all split up, Cherry is trying to work her way out. Seam, you go over to the window and kind of investigate it. You can see that it's painted shut. This is kind of an older house. So not impossible to try to get it open. It would probably take some work. But I think if the window is kind of by the bed, so you kind of climb up to the bed and are able to be on the windowsill and look out and see some you see that it's a drop off. It's not impossible. If you climbed out the window there, you could possibly get out that way. But it would be a little bit more dangerous. It's just siding on the outside. There's not a roof or anything. Larkspur, I think while you're kind of looking around, you find I think you find some rations in the form of half of a candy bar, some Cheetos, and
Nice.
a tucked away bundle of seeds that suggests you aren't the first rodents to be making your way through this room. And then I also think you find a roll of twine. Not like huge, like maybe like partially empty, so it's possible for you to put it in your pack. So go ahead and put in your inventory. One inventory slot will be filled with the twine. If you want to take it, you obviously don't have to.
No, I'll take it.
And then also I think rations fill up inventory as well. Let me see. Food for the road, eating a ration. Okay. If you already have rations, I think you can just put this in with those, so it doesn't have to take up another slot.
Okay. And then just add one ration to it?
No, you
really
can
sure
add,
if there's a number.
You can add 5 rations to it.
Nice.
You find a lot of food as you're kind of sneaking around looking for things.
Nice.
And then you also do kind of get a lay of the land a little bit. Not anything too terribly different than what I said. You can see that there's a door open that kind of looks like it goes into a hallway where the human left. I think you like kind of peek around that door kind of curiously. And then the other door, which is shut. And the reason why I thought of this, you do not see cat hair in this room. So that's the whole reason why I asked if you looked around, and I almost forgot to say.
Okay.
That's reassuring.
Also, quick question for potential future shenanigans. What time of the day is it?
I think it's probably maybe like late afternoon. I think you guys were going to the circus around like noon, 1, something around there, and watched the circus for a while before you were kidnapped, and then were driven for some period of time, maybe a half an hour if you had to guess. So yeah, it's like mid-afternoon, maybe like 3-ish.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, so Pecan and I are out of the cage.
Yes, you two are out of the cage. Seam, you're kind of inspecting this window, and Larkspur, you are loaded up on snacks and found
Nice.
some twine.
Okay. You said there was a door that was open?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Can I peek out of that? Or glance around that?
You peek out of the door. I think, Cherry, as you're leaving, you all hear Gerb say, like, be careful out there and don't say I didn't warn you, as you're, like, leaving. Cherry, you're still on top of the desk, but you and your sister are out of the cage. Larkspur, you peer out this door, and you can see it's, like, the room you're in is carpeted. The outside the door is, like, wood floor or, like, laminate or something like that. And you can see basically a hallway. So to your left, you see there's another door kind of close to, like, it's far because it's a human house, but like for a human house, the next door down. And then you also see some stairs kind of up ahead of you.
What's our exit? Because we have the window. But we said that might not be the safest, so...
Yeah, I think I think Cherry, if you want to if you want to climb down with everybody, that can fit into, like, your 10 minutes of escape time. Or if there's something you want to do on the desk, you can do that. But it might be good for, like, the 3 of you to have a conversation about what your game plan is.
Sure. Before I come down, can I kind of scout around the desk, see if there's anything useful that I could take?
Yeah. I think if you want, you could probably cobble together, like, 1 ration out of, like, the crumbs and things on the desk. There's, like, probably the only thing that would be, like, that useful would be maybe some, like a pen or paper. The fidget toys are pretty big compared to you, so that would take up, probably all 4 of your inventory slots. to try to fit it into whatever kind of carrying sack you have. It's pretty big. But pencil, I would say, could take up 2 inventory slots if you wanted to take a pencil or a pen.
Okay, I think I'll just take the ration and then head down
Cool.
to join my teammates.
Yeah, I think Pecan kind of is, you're like kind of looking around at everything. Pecan's just like already trying to scale to get down to your to your friends. Just again kind of not wanting to talk to you. And when you get down a little bit later with seemingly nothing to show for it, she can't see your rations, she kind of rolls her eyes, but is I think Seam is up on the bed, and Larkspur is over by the door, but you're all relatively close enough that if you wanted to, like, I'll even say if you wanted to take a rest, like take a turn resting, because some of you are exhausted, you could do that, and while you're doing that, you could chat about what you want to do.
I'm down with that.
Sure, yeah, that works for me.
Self-care.
Yeah, get a little self-care. Okay, so let me see. A rest, I believe. Oh, exhausted is actually only cleared after a long rest. So hang on, let me see how long a long rest is. You might be stuck with that one. Unless you want to use your grit. Hang on. Let me look at rests. Scroll. Okay. Okay, so a long rest would actually be like the whole rest of the day. That would take care of anyone who's exhausted. A short rest restores hit points or hit protection, but does not because it's just a few minutes of rest, basically, like 10 minutes. So yeah, if you want to have a conversation, you could get hit protection back, which I don't think any of you have lost. Or if you want to like hunker down, like find a place to take a long rest to try to get rid of some of this exhaustion, that's up to you.
I would not be opposed to. I don't think I have the exhausted or the exhaustion condition. But I would be down to to take a long rest, kind of hunker down. Again, for potential future shenanigans. So yeah, that's where I stand.
Long rest it is.
Cool. Yeah. You all kind of looked around. You're able to find like I think I guess it's up to you. Where do you think you go into this room to take a rest?
Maybe under the bed.
I was also thinking under the bed.
Yeah.
Under the bed.
Somewhere hidden.
Cool. Okay, so I'm going to roll some encounter checks. Oh, go ahead, Sierra.
I need 1 second. My cat somehow got wrapped up in a tote bag, so I need to get her out. So one moment.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'm gonna roll some encounters to see. You go ahead, go for it.
Cool.
When you come back, you'll find out. You'll find out what happens. Cool. Okay, so I think I'm not gonna, because it'd be wild to roll. How many would I have to roll? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have to roll 12, and that's not really how rests work. So I think I'm just gonna roll. I think I'm gonna roll 3 as you all are resting to see if anything happens. You have a relatively uneventful rest. I think you notice there are some like kind of cobwebs, possibly spider webs under the bed, but don't see any signs of spiders. And I think you do kind of wake up. Go ahead and remove the exhausted condition marker from your inventory. And I think, I'm assuming you're taking watches and everything. It's pretty uneventful. You do at some point, the human comes into the room and you feel them get into the bed, and you can hear the like creaking of the bed above you as you also are taking your rest. Because it's about like 8 hours, I think, for rest. I'm not exactly sure.
Wouldn't the ceiling be like coming down at us since he's like laying
A
in
little
the
bit,
bed?
yeah. It's not like enough to like crush you or something, but like whoever is on watch when that happens, because if it was 3 and you're resting for 8 hours, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So right about at the end of when you are like resting, whoever's on watch, I think it is Larkspur, you hear the thudding, and like hear this creaking in the bed kind of like lowers. And also Sierra, Reborn Gamer gave you another advantage to use and said for Sierra and the tote bag. Yeah.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Reborn Gamer. Yeah, so you all are take your rest. You've now been in this house for a while. And like the air is like so different from what you're used to.
Gonna have to start paying rent soon.
Yeah.
How long we've been here?
Seam, you're the only one who's been in like a human house before. I think during that rest you can all have time to kind of talk to each other, and have a conversation about what your plans are going to be when you're done resting.
I mean, I think it might just be prudent to start making our way, or what? Once we're done with our rest, just start making our way through the house and trying to get out.
My main concern is the cat. What is it called?
I may have a way to take care of the cat. Not take care of it, but distract it enough to get past.
Do you want to share your plan?
Sure, yeah.
Or is it a surprise?
So I go into my inventory and I'm gonna take out my light spell stone. And you can I don't exactly remember how the light spell is used. And I have two plans of attack, depending on how the spell exactly works, because I want to get this right.
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to tell you? Do you want me to give you a reminder of the light spell first, or do you want to tell me?
Yes, please.
Cool. Okay, so the light spell. So the way that spells work in the game is it has 3 charges. You can use multiple charges by adding more dice. It's a d6 that you roll. For the light spell, it's the number of dice that you use. That's how many creatures it affects. So if you use 1 die and just 1 charge, it would just be 1 creature. If you use 2 die and 2 charges, it would be 2 creatures. So you force them to make a will save, or they become stunned. Or you can create light as bright as a torch for whatever the sum of the dice for that many turns. But the stunning is what you used on the snake.
Okay, all right. I figured that was it, but I wanted to double check.
Yeah.
Honestly, either one might work, so I'm gonna say both.
So I was thinking, I've seen,
That was Reborn Gamer just played that sound effect.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That's
You too
great.
can use channel points to play various sound effects while we're playing the game. Whatever strikes your fancy.
Good one. Good one.
Oh gosh, what was I saying?
About the stunning the cat, I think.
yes, yeah. So I was thinking that maybe I could try and stun the cat the same way I did that snake. But I've also seen sometimes I've only seen this from a very, very far away, so I don't know if this would actually work. But I've seen that some humans they have this like little thing that does a thing like my oh my god, what's the word? Like my spotlight. And they'll shine it, and cats go crazy for it. They'll try and get it.
Oh my gosh.
I'm ready. I'm
Very
here for
good.
it.
Um,
Love it.
and I just if I can get it to work, then I think that'll be enough of a distraction while we make our escape. So what do you think?
I love it. I'm here for it. I don't have to kill a cat today. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'll say all of you would know that a cat, like what Cherry said is probably a pretty good idea. So in Mausritter, there are certain creatures that it would take a war band of mice to effectively fight, just because of how powerful they are, how strong they are. So a cat is one that you would need like a bunch of mice together to fight. Just any of you would know that because because she's a warlord. So she's like huge. I mean, huge compared to you. Not as huge as a human, but like very big. So like head on, like one-on-one fighting a cat, maybe gonna be pretty rough for you. But something like Cherry said, if you're just trying to distract a cat, if you encounter her, maybe not the worst idea.
Nice.
Yeah, what do you think?
Where do we start?
Yeah, I was gonna say, where do you think you're headed?
Well, it's dark right now too, right? So this whole light thing would be pretty good. Pretty good time for it.
Yeah.
Do we?
That's partially why I was totally okay with taking a long rest.
Yeah.
Because my other idea, or another idea that I had was, since it creates light like a torch, if we wait for darkness, obviously the humans in the house would go to sleep at some point and it would be dark.
Right.
And cats, or I guess most mammals do this, but their pupils will dilate to take in more light. And I don't know if Cherry would know that, but
I mean, you would know that a cat would be active at night. I mean, cats are semi-nocturnal.
okay.
So, and also, I think, Cherry, you have a lantern, correct?
I do, yes.
Yeah, so you could use that and not have to use your spell, since that is, like, you only have so many charges of that. But if you wanted to use it to stun the cat, like, I'm not saying that wouldn't work, but it would just be more difficult. A cat is harder to fight than a snake.
That was gonna be my next question. Like, would I have any idea of like how hard it would be to stun a cat?
Let me look. Let me compare the stats. What a funny thing. Actually, a snake's. I'm not gonna give you like specific numbers because I don't think you would know that. But a snake's willpower is actually similar to a cat. I will say that last time it was about 50-50 that the snake was going to be stunned. So, you know, not the easiest thing to do, but possible.
Gotcha.
Possible to stun the cat.
Okay, so what I think what I'm gonna do is like what I think the plan should be that we start making our way through the house and just trying to get out. And then if we happen to run into Leo Tigre, I can shine my lantern, and then if that doesn't work, then I can use my light spell. And then we beat feet and we try and get back home.
I wonder if there's any holes in the wall. Taylor, you said that there have been other mice here, yes?
Yes, yeah. Have been other mice here.
Do you think it's possible that there's mice holes
Yeah,
in the walls?
Yeah, do you want to take a little time to, like, specifically look at the walls of the room to see if you find any mice holes?
I think I would like to.
Yeah.
Because if not, the only option's that hallway, right? We haven't really found anything else besides that in the window.
There's the hallway, the window, and then there's a closed door in this room. But you saw another closed door down the hallway in that direction. So, yeah, I'll say, yeah, I think kind of, because, Seam, you've been kind of quiet, like, up to that point. Here's what I think happens. I think, let me know if this is not what you want. So Cherry and Larkspur are kind of talking and saying, like, okay, Cherry's kind of, like, explaining this thing. Seam, you kind of start to, like, look around being familiar with, like, the way places like this work. And kind of scout around the wall. And you do find a mouse hole. I think you kind of go out from under the bed a little bit. There's like a bookshelf and you're kind of able to like wedge yourself, there's like some space like where the baseboard is that is kind of like pushed out, and you kind of snoop behind this bookshelf and see a mouse hole. And I think that's when you say, do you think there could be a mouse hole? Knowing fully.
Me already knowing. Me, hey guys. Do you think there's a mouse hole?
Yeah.
So. I love how the music changed at this moment.
Yeah, it changed to very like funny music.
Well, that's a lot easier than what I was thinking. So why don't we poke our heads in there and see if there's anyone who can help us?
We can do that, and worst case, we just find not an easier way to get out, but maybe a safer way to go through the majority of this area.
I mean, I'm open to suggestions. I'm just trying to get us out of here. I want to leave. I don't want to stay here.
Especially if there's a cat.
Let me see, because I have notes on where this mouse hole goes to. Where does it go to? Oh my gosh, why couldn't I have made a more clear note? It's not there. It's not there. Where is this mouse hole? Where does it go to? I had them all go someplace.
To an alternate universe.
Yeah, you go to an alternate dimension.
It goes into the void.
It doesn't.
We find ourselves.
There's a couple of different
out.
Places it could be, and it doesn't really matter too terribly much. It'd be nice if I used, like what I actually prepped in advance. Oh, here it is. Okay. Cool. I found it. Okay, so you poke through this mouse hole. You do see spider webs here as well. So you know that there's a possibility that there could be some spiders in the area. But you are in like the inner walls of the house, which seem this is easy peasy. You've been inside walls of house before. That isn't certainly not the right grammar. You've been inside walls of house before. So I will say, as you climb in, you can definitely see that there's like space for you to be able to head downward, which is, presumably where you're trying to get to, the door closer to the ground. I think it takes a few turns of you kind of going through. Let me see. The first obstacle you get to after about 10 minutes of climbing is, let me make a mark that a turn is passing. There's an area that is very narrow, hard to squeeze through. You think you could do it, but it's a little bit of an obstacle.
Oh, no.
Where like kind of there's like normally inside the walls there's like the studs that go this way, and then there's like the kind of cross beams that go the other way. I think you come across one of those cross beams where it's like you could fit through it. You can actually see there's like some like chew marks from other mice. But maybe not quite small enough, or not quite big enough for any of you to fit through. And I think Pecan just goes, okay, so I guess we're climbing back up then?
I mean, could we send Chewy through? See if there's anything on the other side?
Chewy...
Would that be okay, Seam?
I think Chewie kind of looks at Seam as well, like happy to be useful, but also like, you know, has, you know, somebody else is kind of not in charge of them, they're friends, but looking to Seam for approval.
Are you okay with doing that, Chewie?
Chewie buzzes excitedly, like flaps his wings a little bit.
All right, go on then.
Gets his little his little booties on his feet touch ground for the first time this adventure. It gets like some dust and cobwebs on his booties. And like kind of climbs through, and then after a little bit climbs back up, and like I think kind of manages to communicate with you that like if you can get through this gap, like if you can figure out a way to get through it, that the next area is similar to what you've already climbed down.
All right, well that answers that. I guess we're trying to figure out a way to get through.
Is there any way that I could like investigate to see if like it's been established that we see the little chewing marks? Is there a way that I could do something akin to an investigation check to like figure out if those mice actually pulled it off?
Yeah, I think if you want to take a turn between Chewie going down and looking and, you know, Pecan being kind of like, you know, not that excited about it, I think if you take a turn to investigate, you could kind of figure out, you know, maybe what the situation is with these bite marks.
Sure. I mean, I'm okay with that. Are you guys okay if we take a minute to try and figure out a way through?
Oh, suddenly Cherry is the patient one. That's new.
Shade.
He's just gonna like eyebrows like raise like.
Well, I don't mind
Awkwardly.
taking a minute either, so...
Yeah, Cherry is going to pointedly ignore that.
Cool, yeah, so you take some time to look. Okay. It quickly becomes apparent what happened here. Because as you're peering down to, like, investigate what's going on, behind you, the other two of you notice 3 wolf spiders approaching, coming down the walls. And Cherry, you kind of see like, oh, it looks like this was like interrupted very like abruptly. It's weird that the whatever mouse didn't finish. And yeah, Larkspur and Seam, you see these spiders descending toward you.
Yeah, that's just so weird. I don't know why they would stop.
Chewie immediately is like going like wild, like buzzing around, like kind of standing by the little hole, like kind of going like, should I go through? Like freaking out because obviously a little beetle would be terrified of spiders.
Right.
Poor little Chewie. Oh man. And I Seam can see this, yes?
Yes. Yeah. Seam, you and Larkspur
Okay.
kind of keeping watch.
I guess like hesitantly like pulls bow and arrow from like my back to like my side just in case, like not wanting to be like obviously confrontational, but like being prepared in case this is gonna be like a fight, you know?
Yeah.
I already have my needle overhead, so we're
Yes.
we're loud and clear over here.
Yeah. Go ahead, everybody, and roll me to see who goes first. So there's 3 spiders. I'm gonna roll 3 dex checks for them, and then each of you roll a dex check, and whatever group gets the higher number will go first. So there's not exactly initiative in this
Okay.
game, but there is like some contested rolls to see who acts first when it kind of gets into combat.
I got an 8.
An 8. Okay, let me.
I got a
roll.
16.
Cool. Oh, actually, hang on. I think I said the wrong thing. I think it's... I'm not adding the numbers together. That doesn't make sense. I'm going to count the number of successes. So let me know who succeeds on, who rolls lower than than your dex. That's what we're doing.
Oh no.
I succeeded.
Oh, no.
We're doing so well!
Okay, let's see. These 3 spiders. That's a success. That's a success. That's a success. I rolled a 1 and a 4, and their dex is pretty high. So I rolled a 1, a 4, and a 10, I think, and their dex is 15. So definitely these spiders go first. So one of them, and I think we'll go back and forth. Like I said, there's not exactly initiative, but I think I'll have one of the spiders go, and then one of the three of you go. We'll kind of do it, like that. This is mostly just to determine who kind of acts first. So you all have time to prep. I think, Jerry, the thing that makes you turn around and see what's going on is Pecan says I'm trying to think of what a sibling would say in this situation. I think Pecan doesn't say anything. I think she just grabs your shoulder and spins you kind of around and up to see these spiders. And one of them is going to take a bite at I think probably Larkspur, because you've kind of got your sword up over your head. And is going to do 3 damage to your hit protection.
Okay.
So this wolf spider is they're kind of rushing down towards you, and one of them takes a bite in your shoulder as you're kind of holding this sword. Do any of the 3 of you have something that you would like to do in return? Let's see if I can play some more intense music.
But I'll let someone else go first if you want.
I don't know if I have any moves right now, so if anyone else wants to go or has any idea,
I'm gonna shoot the damn spider that bit my homie Larkspur.
Great. Okay, so go ahead and roll a d8.
I'm dumb. Which one is the D8 again?
The D8 is the one that's 2 pyramids on top of each other.
The double pyramid,
double
right?
Pyramid.
Okay. Pew. We got a 6.
Nice. Cool. That's pretty good. I just realized I did not grab a paper to take notes. And this is harder than with the human, because I could just put it in my notes app, but there's 3 different spiders, and that's not as easy. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And forgive me for 1 second while I check the rules. I don't run this game as much as I run other ones, and the combat is different. I believe it has to make a roll, which is good for you all. Oh, okay. It does not. Okay, so so just over the table, so it has 6 hit points. So you've deleted you've gone through its hit protection. From now on, damage you do to it go to its strength, which means that it might it has to make saves once you start hitting its strength to keep fighting. So it might just it might just go. I'm gonna make rolls for these other 2 spiders though, to see if they see their friend get really, really badly hurt by an arrow, if they decide they want to keep going.
Keep up this behavior.
Yeah. Let me see. I think it's a will save that I am making. And I have to scroll back down to see the spider's will. I don't think it's that high. Oh, its will is actually not too bad. Okay, let me make 2 saves for these other 2 spiders. Oh, that's a fail. That is a success. One of the spiders you see, I'll do one for the... Okay, the one that you hit surprisingly stays latched on to Larkspur. One of the other ones starts rushing towards you, Seam. The other one just goes right back up the wall.
Gets out of here.
Just said nope. Just nope down in there.
I think the one that's coming towards you, Seam, is going to go ahead and roll next. So they're going to go ahead and roll a bite for you, and that does 4 damage to your hit protection.
Oh, crap.
And I think that was just a mathematical, but I did not hear the sound. Did anyone hear?
That was in fact mathematical.
Okay.
I heard it. Mathematical.
Okay, cool. I was gonna say, do I have to change something? So that goes to your hit protection. And Cherry, you said you had something kind of in mind.
Yes. So, since it's it's like 11:30-ish at night.
Mhm.
I would like to turn on my lantern, and it kind of the same tactic that I was going to use for the cat. Just try and disorient them with the sudden appearance of light.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. I think I'm trying to decide what that is because that is creative. I think I'll have them do a will save to see if that disorients one. Are you going for the one that it bit into Seam, or are you going for the one that bit into the one that bit into Larkspur?
Gosh, I was hoping for an area of effect, but if I have to choose, I guess the one.
I think if you want to try to get multiple of them, I'll have them roll with advantage. If you pick one, I'll have them just do a straight up roll.
Gotcha. Okay, then I'll do the one that's going after Larkspur.
Cool. So yeah, you pull out your battery-powered lantern to try to scare the spider off. It rolled a 1, which is good.
Nice.
For it. Sorry.
Oh wait.
Yeah,
No!
sorry. Good for it. I'm being.
Wait,
I
hold
did
on.
that in the most confusing way I could have said it. A 1 is good for it. Yeah, it like, you see, like, you hold your lantern up, and it's like from like a Disney movie where, like, you know, a lantern like goes into the bad guy's face, and the face is like lit from below, and like except for it's a spider, so it's like all these glistening eyes. You can see like green like coming from its little pinchers. And with that, I think, sorry, which one did you say you were targeting? The one on
Larkspur.
Okay. The other one, the one on Larkspur, I think is going to make another attack. So Larkspur, that is 4 damage to your hit protection.
Ooh, I'm at like 1.
Okay. So if you get damage that goes past your hit protection and goes into your strength, then you'll have to start making rolls to see if certain things happen, because it could be a critical hit. That's how criticals work in this game. So who of the 3 of you wants to go next?
I guess I will, since I'm on 1 HP.
Yeah,
HP,
you're
sure.
holding this sword above your head, and I
Like,
think that sword is a D6,
bleeding a little bit.
I think. Is that correct? What is the sword? Oh, it's medium, right?
The needle says light.
Oh, it is light. Okay, so that would be a D6.
The D6. Okay, just kidding. 4.
4, cool. And I think the one that's on you is the one that already took damage. So that goes to its strength, which is not good for it. Must make a strength save. Okay. Let me see. This is going to determine whether this other spider is going to take critical damage. Which critical is very bad. Okay. It, I think, does save. Let me check what its strength is. My printer picked today to not work, and that's when I was gonna like print out these stats so I could have them all. So sorry, as I'm like kind of scrolling back and forth between different things. Let's see. Spider. That does save. So you do the oh, actually, hang on. No, it doesn't save because you reduced its strength by 4. So it rolled a 5. So it takes critical damage. Critical. What happens on a critical? Not that.
No.
Not that. What is the critical effect?
It's gonna be bad news, huh?
It's
I know
bad
it's
for
gonna be
it.
bad
It's not.
news.
It's not bad for you. It's good for
Just
you.
kidding. Okay.
You're doing great.
It's great for
didn't
you.
hear that part.
Okay. After taking strength
Commit the
damage,
crimes against spiders.
the creature must make a strength save. If they succeed, they're still able to fight. If they fail, they take critical damage. When a creature takes critical damage, they take an injured condition or an incapacitated until tended to by an ally and take a short rest. So this creature is incapacitated. You drive your needle sword into it. I'm gonna roll to see if the other spider it wants to keep fighting after this happens.
Maybe
It does
Gotta
not.
break their spirit.
The other spider, like, unlatches from you, Seam, and, like, runs up the wall to join its friend. The other one that you hit with your sword, Larkspur, like, does the spider thing where its legs, like, curl up into it. You know, it's not dead, but if left alone, it will certainly die. And you are here now. Still with this obstacle in front of you, but now at least you know that the thing that happened to the other mice that were biting at this thing, you managed to not be taken away by the spiders.
Nice. All right, so onward then. Do I need bandages or anything? Does anyone need rations?
If you want to take a short rest here, you can. That takes a turn.
Is it possible because I didn't get hit at all in that fight.
Yeah.
Is it possible while they're taking the short rest, I'm like trying to chew through the obstacle?
Absolutely, yeah. I'll say if you take 10 minutes to chew through the obstacle, the other two can take a rest. So you get to...
Is Pecan helping me?
Just watching you.
I think Pecan is helping you because
Standing
it's like, you know, you can be petty to a sibling, but it's like, those are not the only 3 spiders that live in this entire house. Like, I think Pecan is like, okay, let's get going. Okay, I'm trying to look to see how many, rest, here we go. So you can roll a d6, and then add 1 to it, and you'll restore that many hit points. Or they're hit protection. Sorry, I keep using the wrong term.
One more time.
So go ahead and roll a d6. So the square one. The normal dice.
It took me a second to remember that one.
Yeah. And then whatever number is on the die, add 1 to it. And you get that many hit points back. As long as it's not more than what your max is. So, like, if you lost 4 hit points and you rolled 5, you still only get 4 hit points back. You're just back to full health.
Gotcha. I am back up to 9.
Nice.
3.
Oh, no. You said you're only at 3.
Yeah, it's rocky over here, but
Yeah.
we're trying.
Cool, but yeah, while you're doing that, Cherry and Pecan and Chewy is giving some moral support, and you are able to chew through that. And the rest of the wall, you know, there's some other beams, but they're not quite as tight. You're able to make it through. It does take a little bit of time. So I'm gonna roll for another encounter. Nothing happens. No more spiders. You come out of this hole, there, you know, at the bottom of where you're going straight down. You see another little mouse hole in the wall. And Cherry, go ahead and mark, I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4 uses of your lantern. Wait, hang on. That's not quite
Could
right.
I say that I had burned out the lantern after the spiders had gone up?
There is not a source of light in the walls, so you could do that, but it's gonna take you probably longer to travel if you don't have a light source.
Gotcha. So how many uses was that?
1, 6. Oh, actually, sorry. You do not have to mark a use yet, because when you use it for 6 turns, you mark 1 use, but you've only used it for 4, so you're good.
Gotcha.
You poke your little heads out of this mouse hole, and you see that you're back on, sorry, you're not back on carpet. You are on, hardwood floor, and you're underneath some type of furniture. You do see more spider webs underneath this. And you also see, I think, some, like, some crumbs, like, I think some little pieces of cheese underneath here.
I don't like that.
Yeah, is it safe? Is it safe cheese?
Yeah, I'm thinking that these pieces of cheese are trapped somehow. Like it seems way too good to be true.
Yeah, you all kind of have this thought of like, you see cheese and you're like, cheese, and then you're like, this isn't like crumbs of cheese, this is like cubes of cheese. And as you kind of go up to it sniffing, something does not smell right about this cheese.
So we're just gonna ignore that, right? We're just gonna
Don't eat the cheese.
Pecan says, sorry, I might not have been in a human house before, I might not have adventured that much, but like, I know not to just eat like random cubes of cheese I find around. Like, I at least know that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Pecan sets the cube of cheese back down.
Casually.
Yeah, I was just smelling it, just like you were smelling it. So like, I don't really know why you have to be on my back about
wiping her hands off on her.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever, Pecan. Do we see any doors out of this room?
I think if you want to take a turn to kind of scout around, it's still pretty dark. I don't think you need to use your lantern, because I think there is like some ambient light, like maybe there's like some night lights, or like there's some like moonlight kind of coming in through the window. So it's dim, but not fully dark. So
is it? Sorry.
Yeah.
Is it a full room, or we're still on the wall?
You came out of a mouse hole. You're under some type of furniture. But you have entered into a new full, like, you can at least see that. Like, you can see the floor kind of stretch out in front of you. But yeah, if you want to take some time to scout out the area, I can mark a turn while you all do that, and let you know what you find. Because I think from where you are, you can't really see the lay of the land too much.
All right.
I vote for checking out the room, but
I agree.
Cool. Yeah. So you all kind of nervously poke out from whatever this furniture is. Once you're out from under it, it looks like it's a couch. And kind of scope around. You see a couple of different things. You see there is a there's the couch that you just came out from under. There's also a fireplace. And there is also a piano in this room. Those are probably the main things that you see. Whether any of you realize what a piano is, I think you would recognize a fireplace. I don't know if mice would have a version of a piano. That seems difficult for a mouse to be able to make, but it's possible. And then you also see, you can see, because there's like windows and things like that. You recognize, especially those of you who were not inside of this like glass jar, the front door to the house, but it, not immediately a way that you could tell that you could, I mean, it's a human door, so maybe not immediately apparent how you could get it open, but you do see that.
Can I check the door to see if it has, like, you know how sometimes there's a gap between the door and the floor? Like, I don't know how big of a gap the front door would have, but is there is there a way to check it out?
Yeah, you spend your time, I think you kind of head over to the door for your turn of exploration. And it is like weather sealed, so there's like the kind of rubbery thing around the edges of the door. Doesn't seem too drafty. But I think you do see there is a handle to the door. It's very high. I mean, it's like human size. And the door is kind of like one of those metal kind of doors. Like the front doors that kind of have like some sort of like, it's wood on the inside, but has some kind of like metal-ish thing on the outside. So maybe hard to climb. Not impossible, but not as easy as wood.
Are there any open windows in this room?
You know what? I'm going to just roll a pure luck check because it is spring. And we are also getting close to 10 o'clock, which is kind of when for me anyway, not for you all. So Cherry, I think, given my own inclinations, when it starts to get a little nice out, there's probably about a 50-50 chance that this person left one of the windows open to get a breeze and, like, didn't close it. So go ahead and roll me a d20. And this is pure luck, so you can't use advantage or anything like that on it. And if you get, do you want to go for high or do you want to go for low? I'll leave it up to you. Do you want to try to get a 10 or lower or an 11 or higher?
Do an 11 or higher.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead, roll for it.
All right, I'm using Sandman's dice one more time.
This determines the relationship.
The divorce.
That is a 13.
Nice! There is a window open. Yeah, there's a screen to it, but there is a window open.
Excellent. I'm going to... Seam, do you still have your grappling hook thing? Your fishing hook?
I do indeed, but it's a little banged up.
Okay. Do you think it would break if we used it? Or I don't know. How banged up is it?
I mean, it's worth a try regardless, no?
I think so. I think if we're because I should have led with this. There's an open window. And
you all are really burying the lead with your discoveries.
We're doing our best.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's an open window, and I figure if maybe we don't need to use the grappling hook, but if we do, I think that might be a real easy way for us to get up there, and then we can go.
All right, sounds like a deal. How high up is this window?
I think maybe there's I'm trying to think of some other, like, I didn't mention other furniture or anything because it wasn't, like, you know, as interest points, but there's probably like a bookshelf or something, you know, kind of like below it. Definitely grappling hook. If you use your grappling hook, I'll say within a turn you can get up to the window without having to make checks or anything like that. I think the only thing I'll do is I think I should leave this to Seam just to see how your grappling hook holds up if you have to mark another use from using it to help everyone climb up. Mm-hmm. You're able to hook it on just fine. I think it actually goes, like, hooks into the screen of the window. But go ahead and roll me. I think this is going to be luck. And you want to get... I think there's only a, like... what would the percentages be? I don't know what the percentages be. You could either have it be a 5... Just let me know if you want to roll high or roll low. So it's either going to be you want to hit 5 or below, or you want to hit 15 or higher. This game is kind of weird because some rolls are high, some rolls are low, so I'll let you choose.
Let's do 15 or higher.
Okay. Cool.
Please, for the love of God.
It's not terrible. It just means you marked a use of your... It just means you marked a use.
So I don't want to lose my fishing hook. All right.
I am assuming that's a fail. So go ahead and mark a use of your fishing hook. But the good news is all of you clamber up to this window with just the screen. And here's what I'll say. You know, again, this isn't exactly how the game works, but I think narratively makes sense. Actually, no, here's what I think happens. The fish hook bends a little bit. So instead of it, like, tearing through the screen, like with someone, you know, with someone's weight coming up through it, the fishing hook is the thing that kind of gives a little bit. So you don't all fall. It's like, it's good that that's what happened. But you do get a use out of your fishing hook as you have to kind of bend it back into place. But yeah, you are all at this screen window, and you can see the darkness outside of the house, and you're so close to escape. You just have this screen between you and the outside world.
Do anyone have anything to cut it with? I have twine. I don't know.
I Larkspur, I think you with your needle sword, I think that might do the trick.
We can like pull it back or something, maybe. Yeah, I'll give it a try. Whatever I gotta do.
Yeah.
Somebody tell me.
Oh, also,
Tell me where to point.
I forgot to have you roll, because after you use your weapons in combat, you roll to see if they took damage. So let me find that. Not damage, but if they took a usage. Okay, so Larkspur and Seam, roll me a d6, so the square dice. Oh. And if you get a 4 or between a 4 and 6, mark usage. If you roll lower than 4, then you do not mark usage for your respective weapons. So you do mark usage. Oh, usage. Sorry, I feel like poor Sierra. This game does go back and forth between like high and low rolls being good. Right. And how about you, Seam?
I got a 5.
Okay, so both of you mark usage. Again, not the end of the world. But it is something that happens. So I think because of that, Sierra, you kind of sorry, Larkspur, I try to address you by your character names. Pull down on the sword and just make a hole right through this screen. And there's a little bit of a drop. You can see to the outdoors. But you certainly, I was gonna say, you certainly have ways to get around that. Yeah, I'll say if you want to take a turn, getting that twine tied to something so that you all can make your way out.
Do I need to roll anything?
No, you're just, like I said, for stuff like this, a lot of times it's just making it more likely that you might have an encounter, because every so many turns I roll an encounter. But yeah, you take the time to tie it up, and you all can see ahead of you this piece of twine dangling down into, I think, what you see below you as you kind of look down in the moonlight, you can see the shoots of like daffodils and like those like kind of root, like bulb flowers that start to sprout really early in spring. You can see those below you as if there's some kind of like garden or something. But you are all, you're able to climb down into the garden. Nice. Yeah, go ahead. I think, Seam, you were going to say something.
I was gonna say, I imagine Seam just like having a sigh of relief of having been out of that situation, but also immediately tensing back up when she realizes, 1, they're in the middle of a garden and who knows what is in this garden, and 2, where are they in general?
Yeah, I think there is like a moment where like you all, I think, it's up to you how you react to this, but you feel for the first time, like in a while, because you took a rest inside this house. You had some close calls with spiders. You knew there was a cat in there, which luckily you didn't happen to encounter. And you feel like the fresh outside air that you're used to, like, fills your lungs and like the dirt under your feet. I don't know whether you're wearing shoes or not. The illustration you certainly aren't, but I guess it's up to you whether. The only one canonically who has shoes is Chewy. But either way, you are now resting in, some nice dirt, kind of more what you're used to. It's a little muddy, but the smells of spring. You smell the fresh green buds of grass, the earthy spring mud. You can hear like kind of the sounds of like outdoors at night. I think in the distance you hear the hoot of an owl, which may be for mice not something you're that excited about. Yeah. But regardless of how else you feel, you know that you are very far from home, and it might be a while before any of the three of you are truly comfortable again.
Well then.
Well,
sad.
At least we're all together.
Aww.
I think when you say that, you hear like this kind of like sound from beside you, and you look, and Pecan is just, like, crying. Like, the catharsis of, like, having, like, basically probably thought she was gonna die. Like, never see her family again, like, you know. And she's just, like, trying very hard to not be crying, and she's just going...
Sniffling.
I think that just because she's like trying not to cry, I don't like pull her into a full hug, but I do like kind of sidle up and like put my hand on her back, just like I let her know that it's gonna be okay. Or at least I want her to know or to think that I think it's gonna be okay.
As soon as you put your hand on her back, she just fully starts sobbing and like throws her arms around you, and she's like, "I'm sorry, I was being so terrible. I was so scared. You know I can't handle it when I get scared." She's like fully crying, hugging you, like burying her face in like, you know, the crook of your neck. You can feel her whiskers like tickling against your back.
I think I just kind of like keep patting her back, and like I don't know, it's one of those weird moments where somebody that you kind of looked up to as like a role model or something is being this vulnerable with you, and you don't really know how to react.
Yeah.
But I mean she's like
Pecan Pipp, yeah.
Oh, I think that she just like continues hugging her, and just like I don't know. I don't think she would like have the comforting words, because whenever she's been in this situation, she's been the one that's being comforted. And
yeah. I think while this is happening, Chewie, like, kind of getting, like, the air of vulnerability in the air, dive bombs into your arms, Seam. Like, much like how you're holding him in the picture, like, immediately is just like, "Boo," and, like, makes the beeline straight for your arms.
Just gently patting his head, like, it's okay, Chewie. We got through it.
Yeah.
On to the next adventure.
Yeah. So I think, well, I'll leave Larkspur. Is there any note you want to end on, or are you just, you know, kind of watching what's going on?
Yeah, I'm just glad to be outside.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of dig your feet
Like
into the ground.
Yeah.
And you're like the main one who kind of, I think we'll lead, the note we'll end on is that Larkspur, now that you know who that cat was, you kind of know you're very far from home, but you kind of like, you know, you're kind of sniffing the wind in the air, and just kind of like thinking like, okay, this is going to be tough, but I think I know where I need to go.
I was kind of, because I mentioned herbology earlier, so I was wondering if like maybe some of the smells or the flowers around be like, okay, I at least know the area we're in.
Yeah.
So not completely lost.
Yeah.
I like the smell thing.
Yeah.
Thing.
So Dreamy just came in. You made it just in time for us to be wrapped up, basically. Yeah. So we'll leave our mice there. A conclusion to, you know, escaping from the house. But leaving it open for, you know, if the three of these players want to come back for another mouse adventure, we have some things that we could do. And I'm gonna throw it over to, I'm gonna go in reverse order this time. I'm gonna start with Goblin. For anyone who's catching us right at the end, Goblin, do you want to really quickly tell us what you do, tell us where we can find you? I'll put the links in the chat for anyone who's not already following you. But yeah, Goblin, what do you, anything you want to say?
Sure. Yeah, as you've probably heard, I'm Goblin. I'm a variety streamer on Twitch. I doodle. I do a lot of art. I did the art for the stream layout today of our three characters. I really like to draw, and if y'all want to see some of my art on like your Twitch, anything on your social media profiles, anything at all, hit me up. It's at it's something ridiculous. I think it's trashgangcommissions@gmail.com. Or just reach out to me on one of my many social medias.
Yes, I have your Twitter linked in the chat. I have your Twitch linked in the chat, and then on screen your username is the same for Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. So if you want to reach out to Goblin, you can find her any of those places. Sierra, do you want to tell us a little bit about where people can find you?
I'm Sierra. I'm Super Silly Sierra on the internet. You can find me on Twitch or YouTube doing comic reviews. I'm a comic concierge, so if you need help finding a new series, getting back into comics, or even don't know what a comic is, I can help. And that's it. That's all I
got. Perfect. Yeah, and Sierra's links are also in chat. And then Vanessa, same question.
Hello. You guys can totally find me on almost all socials under GalaxyWandererX. Feel free to join me doing anything. Literally, I'm just existing. But I am, in fact, a variety streamer here on Twitch. I like to play the games. And I like to make new friends. And a huge thank you to Taylor for putting this together for all of us. We're all super thankful, I'm sure.
Thank you all so much for coming and hanging out.
Excited to have been here with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I really appreciate all three of you coming on. This is so fun. I love these Mausritter games. After stream, it will be available, like the VOD will be on Twitch, and then also I'll upload it to YouTube, so you can find it either of those places. I'm gonna do something a little different than what I usually do, because now I have a credit screen. So we're gonna say goodbye to our players. If the three of you want to hang out in Zoom for just 1 second so I can say thank you to you off stream. But you can, feel free to talk amongst yourselves or run off and, take a break while I'm wrapping up with stream, find somebody to raid. But I am going to get out of this call and go over to my credits screen. Oops, actually, hang on. Let me let you all wave goodbye. I just went over to the except for Goblin. You can wave, but no one
I'm waving in spirit.
Waving with your heart.
Cool. And I'm going to go over to my credits screen and end the call. If one of you will become the host of this Zoom call. So I don't know who it will be. Just keep an. Oh, actually, you know what I'll do? I will do this, so you won't have to keep an eye on me. I'll just be able to rejoin the call. So if you want to hang out for just 1 second while I wrap up, I would appreciate it. If you need to go, feel free to go. But yeah, I'm going to wrap up with chat. So I will wave to you. I get to assign a new host. Cool, I'll assign it. So I just my friends, my guests are on their own thing. Thank you all so much to everyone in chat. And I'm gonna shout out, you can see obviously the credits. But thank you so much to Reborn Gamer for all of the bits and the gifted subs. I so much appreciate it. And then also thank you to Sleep Newt for the follow. Aliana, I know you're not here anymore, but thank you for the bits. Captain Freestar, thank you for the bits. Sky, thank you for the $5. All of the bits and the donations will be split amongst the participants. So I really appreciate you being so generous with your casual and generous with your time. I really appreciate it. I'm really quickly going to say, just reiterate my next streams. I finally remember the command. I stream on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, usually between 6:30 and 7:30 as a start time. I'm playing Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, and also doing behind the scenes streams of like my home game of D&D. This Saturday, we're playing Monster of the Week. It's going to be so much fun. It's also a sequel. That one is going to be called Won't Get Fooled Again is the title of that stream, and it's going to be on Saturday. Same time, same channel, new players. Melanie, who's in the chat, she's going to be in that one. It's going to be a great time. And then on the 17th, I have Goblin Squad, which is D&D 5th edition one-shot with all Goblin player characters. The players themselves are not goblins. Which Melanie's going to be on that as well. So I'm very excited for those. And because I know, obviously, I'm wrapping up stream. I'm also very happy because I got my second COVID shot today. So if you can get vaccinated, please go get vaccinated. I'm very happy. They told me 9 o'clock I was going to start feeling terrible. It's 10 o'clock where I am. I'm feeling good. We'll see how I feel tomorrow. And I think I have somebody to raid. So let me see. Make sure this goes through. We're gonna go ahead and raid Twisted Team, which Captain Freestar, who's in the chat, that is the channel that they play D&D on. I believe they're playing D&D tonight. If you have subs, if you are subbed and you have emotes, or if you've unlocked emotes with channel points, you can go ahead and copy what the bot just said. The bot doesn't have emotes, so you can just copy Rolfo Sparkle, that whole thing, as the raid message. Or if you don't have emotes, just felicitations from the Felicity Raiders. And go show them some love. Some more people. I am pretty sure they're playing D&D, but if they're not playing D&D, I'm sure it's still gonna be fun, whatever they're up to. So thank you so much, everyone. This has been a lovely stream, and I will see you all again soon, I'm sure. Bye.